Hey, I'm Jonathan Braylock.
I'm Luke Job.
And Sergio.
And this is The Floor Play.
Ooh, music, music,
Mm.
music.
Donde está la música? Está aquí.
All right.
Ah,
Wow. Episode 6, Rain Under Fire.
under
I'm
fire indeed.
Let's talk about an episode title that lived up to its name. For those of you joining us maybe for the first time, welcome. This is a podcast where we are recapping season 4 of The Floor, the hit game show on Fox, hosted by Rob Lowe. Check it out Wednesdays, 8 p.m. Eastern and Pacific Standard Time, Central, 7 p.m. Central. Available next day on Hulu and Tubi. Okay, I don't know why I did the full promo. This is
I mean, they're paying you for
they're
it.
paying me for it now. So yeah, we are spoiling the episode. You knew that. Surprise, surprise.
Jonathan's got money in his
we
pocket
got
now.
some money.
Congratulations.
Yeah, but obviously this is a very meaningful episode to me. Also a meaningful episode to Luke in another way, but also just a great episode in general because there were some absolutely incredible duels. I think this season has had so many like twists and turns, and this felt for me like there wasn't any crazy gameplay. It was just in terms of weird strategy or whatever. It was just like pure head-to-head duels in categories that like some people know, some people don't. I think really fun categories, some that were hard and some that were easier, but then
People
still trippy.
people were screaming at their TVs in this episode. There's
Yeah.
no doubt. There's no
Yes.
doubt.
Yeah.
The duels were bangers, man. All
Yeah.
of them were bangers. They really were.
Even the
Yeah.
ones where somebody maybe should have known who Sirius Black was.
That
Still,
one,
it
my
was
house went crazy for that. Sirius Black, like
yeah,
they're yelling,
same,
right?
Right.
Oh man, that one hurt. That one
same.
Well,
hurt.
There's a whole book about that guy. Come on.
look, there's so much to talk about, and we have two incredible guests that are going to join us a little bit later. But first, we want to talk about our experiences heading into this episode. Elizabeth has won 20K. She took out Aaron using the offensive category steal, which of course left her a little bit vulnerable because she, at the beginning of this episode, decides to go back to the floor to defend Harry Potter, a category I think several people wanted to play. And yeah, what did you guys think initially when this like kicked off? Like, were you surprised? Did you think she was gonna? Because she had won one duel with Aaron, so technically all she needed was two more for like a time boost or a swap.
Exactly. Sergio, you start us off.
So I did think it was a mistake at first, and I think we even mentioned it while we were on the floor. The biggest thing is I think we've all accepted after episode 3 and 4 that the whale was now going to be the biggest target. There was no other way to accumulate for the 20K, so you were going to get attacked regardless of what category you had. They were coming after you. So I feel like she made a mistake going back to the floor, not going for at least a time boost, right? A time boost would have been very helpful to go back to the floor with. Maybe might have even kept somebody off of her, right? Even towards the end of the episode, it could have potentially kept someone off. And of course, we saw how it panned out, but I was surprised because she was such an aggressive competitor. So I didn't really expect her to go back down. But yeah, that was a bit of a surprise to me. She did hold it down, right? So she ended up having to go back up
Yeah,
and defend, and that was impressive. But I was surprised, if I'm being honest, that she went back the first time.
Same. Yeah, and it was good that after she defended Harry Potter, she decided to stay. But at that point, it's like, well, now you've reset your clock. You don't
Yeah.
get that. She has to win two more again when she already could have started
sure.
there before and just kept going, and,
And
and would have still had Harry Potter at that point, which
right,
she clearly was comfortable in.
right. Now, who knows? We'll talk to her a little bit later on the show. She might have would have dueled holiday foods and maybe we would get the same result, but maybe not. Who knows? Maybe the shock of having to play immediately would have thrown Kelsey off a bit. We don't know. It's easy to kind of Monday morning quarterback this, but yeah. So she goes back to the floor, and Mark gets randomized, and he decides to go for tablescapes, which I think probably people at home might have been a little bit surprised about this because like tablescapes it was like, oh, what exactly is that? Like maybe this is a little bit harder of a category. It would be fun to have Liliana or Mark in it at some point. I do know that like Liliana, so funny. Like she's a comedian. She's so great. Such a great presence on the floor. I do think like if people were playing the game of like trying to size up competition, I think you would have looked at her because she was freely admitting that that was not a category that she chose, that she didn't really know what that meant. So even though she had time to study it by now, I think like when she first came here, right? Like, did you guys have those conversations with
Yeah.
her? Like, I knew
Not
that.
only that,
Yeah.
but also if someone tells me, "Hey, I'm a stand-up comedian," my first thing is, "Oh, you're on TV for a different reason than why I'm on TV. I'm on TV to fight and try and win money. You're on TV because it's going to help your career. Like my career is not going to be affected by this show, negative or positive. But Liliana, it's like you've already won. You're already on. It's the same for Bo. It's the same for Johnny Fairplay. It's like these people now are back in circulation and getting views, and oh, maybe they said something funny. I'll check out their Instagram. So anytime I heard someone like that, I'm immediately in my mind, I'm thinking, well, this person's less of a competitor.
But you know what? This duel was actually wound up being way closer than I think any of us
It
thought.
did. It's dope.
Mark winds up winning with 5 seconds left, and both of them like passed at certain point. Leland, her first pass was cornucopia, which like that was gut wrenching.
I
I
was like,
think.
I was like, Hunger Games, Fruit of the Loom. Come on.
Hunger Games,
Yeah.
yes, that's what I thought too.
I
Yeah,
also
dude.
feel like in terms of table, well, anyway, I don't know. It was interesting. Yeah, so she didn't know cornucopia, but then like Mark got some ones that were quite difficult. I think some I'm even blanking on the name of the
Yeah,
Utica
it's like
or
Kosh, something like
Kosh,
that.
Kosh. Yeah.
Kosh. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that. So like
That's very hard.
he had some hard ones. He wound up passing a bunch, and then I think the one that really there were two that really did her in, which was place card. And I think this is probably one that people online will probably complain about because she wound up saying she didn't actually say name card ever. She said like name tag,
She
name.
said name tag and something card.
She said
Yeah.
something else card names, and then she was like name the thing with your name on it. I wonder if they would have given it to her if she said name card. Now the official correct answer was place card. And by the way, I watched this with a bunch of other people. There were a few people who said place card, so it wasn't like one that nobody would have gotten.
I was about to say the same thing. My sister was like place card immediately.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah. If you had hosted a wedding recently, you probably would have gotten
exactly.
that. So she winds up like wasting a lot of time on that passing. And then I think the most brutal one, the most heartbreaking one is teapot. She says tea kettle, which
Yep.
I will argue with anyone. That's a different thing.
That is a different thing.
Completely different thing. A tea kettle is the thing that you boil water in. A teapot is what you serve tea with. They are two different things.
Yeah, I agree.
And that one
As
was
does the show.
it was clearly a teapot. It was clearly the thing that you pour tea out of. She never says it.
I think the thing that really screwed her through there is that teapot was not short and stout. And so while you could see the handle in the spout, it was long, and it's not what we think of. This is honestly rigged. It's so frustrating.
I can't wait for people to be like, she got all the hard ones.
Sometimes you do.
But it was brilliant. It was so fun to watch. She did say, I think this happened twice tonight, or sorry, in this episode, where she did say candelabra, but like the time had just ended. I feel like that happened with you, Luke. It happened the same with you. It does happen
with me.
Yeah.
And thankfully, so my wife's watching. She says candelabra. My wife's like, she got it. She should have gotten the second. And then, of course, comes fully back around to kitty litter, and she's like, "You got that? What's going on? Like, come on, ref." Yeah. So it's tough when you feel like you did hit the buzzer beater, and they snatch it from you anyway. But that's the way the cookie crumbles.
So that's the human element, right, of the judging aspect, where
exactly.
it does take them a second to react, a second to push the button to give you the next image. And so
the other thing is, if anybody's allowed to say this, I'm allowed to say it. I don't think it would have mattered. I think Liliana still would have lost. I think I still would have lost. I
Most
mean,
likely.
Liliana's closer because Mark's only got 5 seconds. Charlie still had 9 seconds. If he's not getting something in 9 seconds, that just doesn't add up to me.
Yeah,
I was still going to lose.
It is possible for him to
yeah.
miss and pass, right? Like if
He
he
would have
doesn't
to
get
But
pass
within,
and then pass one more time, and which we've seen though. Like to be fair, we have
mhm.
seen that. But and here's the thing,
or take 4 seconds to pass, right? Because if he takes
right?
4 seconds,
Well,
then says pass,
I,
chances are
I
he
mean,
won't be
that's
able
true.
to
He could have,
stick in.
and people have done that.
my
Yeah.
Jasmine pass took me 7 seconds.
Yeah.
I counted it pretty closely. I was like, it pops up and it started at 37 or 36, and I ended up at 29 by the end of that. And I was like, that's bad.
It's so
So,
Man.
interesting. Okay, so like my whole thing, and maybe let's talk a little bit about, let's hang on this for a second, because I do think this is a big thing for people, the human element of the judging in terms of time. The way that I look at it, when you pass, you lose, quote, 3 seconds. But in reality, you're losing five because
at least.
at least, like, it's like however much time it takes you. But even when you say pass, like you say pass, they have to hit the button to do the pass. That might take them an extra
Yeah.
half a second. Then it freezes for 3 seconds. Then when the image comes up, it takes you at least a half a second to process that, then to say the next thing, and then for them to again hit the button for you to get it correct. It's like we've seen that. Like, I think you're absolutely right, Sergio. 9 seconds, if he got something that he passed on, it could have went down to 2 seconds. And if he can't get that next thing quickly, that is an annoying part of the game. Both people are dealing with
Have to
that.
deal with it.
Exactly.
Yeah, both people deal with it.
So
Exactly. The same reason that Liliana didn't get her buzzer beater and I didn't get mine is the same reason that if we had, we might have won with 1 second left. So
right.
it's yeah, it's yeah. What
And
can you do?
that's the thing. It's like I know it feels unfair, but it's unfair for both people.
It's like an
Exactly.
umpire in baseball, right? Like they
Right.
want to take out that human error, but you know what? Sometimes the ump calls balls strikes and strikes balls, and he does it on both sides. And both teams have to deal with that human element. So any
Yeah.
unfair talk, I believe, is nullified because everybody's dealing with it.
It's always going to
Yeah.
feel unfair if somebody's striking your balls. There's no doubt about it. So you just have
Yeah.
to deal with that. Yeah.
Oh, Luke is on one tonight.
He is.
I drank some red wine.
I don't know if y'all can tell, but we're recording this at night. We really usually record during the day. Anyway, that was a great duel. And then, of course, Mark decides to take on Elizabeth and Harry Potter, and we'll
come back to that.
But
And
it
then
was
we'll come back to
a much awaited upon duel, a category to be played, and definitely left some people frustrated.
yeah.
But that was fun. And then, of course,
Elizabeth won it. She won it fair and square.
Won it fair and square. Won it.
And it was the right
26
move by
seconds
Mark,
left.
I think. I would have liked for him to maybe duel one more before attacking the whale to make it more meaningful.
Move by Mark, Sergio? No,
Yes,
that was not the right
what?
move by Mark.
Listen, here's something you may not know, and I know this because I spoke to Mark personally, but he actually had to get back home. So he was like, whatever happens this episode is going to happen, but I am not, if I'm randomized, I am not getting off that floor. So I do feel like he eventually was going to go after Harry Potter.
Oh,
I just feel like he should have done a couple other things before.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Even if he's not going back to the floor, I get it. I wasn't going back to the floor either.
Yes,
so, like,
you had the same. Yep.
Yeah, but it's not the move to go for the whale that early in a category he clearly did not know.
Right.
Courtney said, we hear her talking head, or not even her talking head. She's on the floor and she's like, well, he's got the lightning bolt on his glasses. I'm pretty sure he knows this. Yeah, it's like, that's great and all. But if you don't know who Sirius Black is, you're never going to get
You weren't
Seamus
even
Finnegan.
close. Yeah,
Yeah.
you weren't even close. Like, I'm telling you guys, I was studying because Harry Potter was the whale at the end of like 3 different episodes.
Exactly.
So, which was insane, by the way. Like that was crazy. It was just like
That
end of
was
episode
crazy.
3, Ashley had the whale. Aaron does the category steal, and so he ends episode 4 with Harry Potter as the whale. And then episode 5, the same thing. Elizabeth does a category steal, so she ends with Harry Potter as the whale. So I was studying. I was
insane.
Like,
I mean, it felt
I
like
already
we were
knew
looking
Harry
at the
Potter.
most beautiful gold mine. Yeah, yeah, exactly. And I was the same way. I already knew
Yeah,
Harry
I
Potter,
already
but
knew
it's
Harry
like
Potter, but
everybody has to study it.
dude. I was looking up the freaking all of the shops that I was like, I'm not passing. Like
Yeah,
I was,
On
yeah,
Diagon Alley.
exactly.
That's
exactly. I was
funny.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
dying
yeah,
out like burnt. I was like, what's the name of the bookstore? I was like asking. I was trying to get
yeah.
every single thing. Please, Seamus, come on. Anyway, he does what he had to do. He lost. Elizabeth duels, and we'll get back to these duels because Elizabeth duels Kelsey. We're going to talk to Kelsey.
And
That was
Elizabeth.
and Elizabeth. That was a tight duel,
Let's
incredible.
get into Luke's duels,
Yeah,
man.
let's go. Because then Kelsey
I do have a
winds up dueling
question
Luke.
about
Yeah,
that because first of all, let's just get it out of the way. I'm proud of you, Luke, and I've told you this off air. You went in there and you did your thing, man. Like even from the first episode, Jitters, you killed it. You played it right. You were showing why strategy was so vital. Watching you go up there and knowing that you're not coming back to the floor because you made it very painfully clear to everyone that would listen that listen, I got 40K in the bank. And if I have an opportunity to have control of the floor, I ain't letting it go. You were painfully clear about that. So to watch you get chosen and then you win your first, I already knew it was coming. And we heard it on the telecast. A couple people say
he's
he ain't
not
Yeah,
coming
coming.
back.
Brad.
He said he's
Brad.
not coming back to the floor. Okay, wait. Can I expand on this?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
What Luke told us, and he was encouraging other people to do this, by the way, which was insane. What Luke told us was, if I get chosen again, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3 category steal, a competitor, and then 1, 2, 3 category steal. And when he was when Kelsey, before the duel even happened, when Kelsey was like, I'm choosing Luke, because you can see my reaction in the episode, I'm like shocked.
Yeah.
And people were like, oh, like, is that your real reaction? Like, do they cut away? And I was like, look, yes. In the edit, they sometimes cut away and they use people's reactions that aren't. But I was like, that was my real reaction because I knew what it meant if Luke won, which was
Yep.
he was going to go for 3 duels in a row, get a category steal, and then take out somebody who he thought was a threat. And which I was like, I'm pretty sure I'm a threat. I was like, I
Both of
know
your names,
Sergio's a threat, and I was just
both
like,
of your names were on my list because I was like, I want Mattel toys, but I don't want it against Sergio. I want podcasters, but I don't want it against Jonathan. So you both were in my sights. Like I wrote it all down back from my notebook. I was gonna keep hitting people that I wanted to play in their category. Charlie was a bad first pick. And then I was
who
going to do
knew?
Rick with presidents. Then I was going to swap snacks for flowers. Clara. Clara was a weapon with flowers. I did not want to play. I wanted state flowers. I knew it. I also knew I didn't know it as well as Clara. So I snagged flowers from her. I duel her in snacks. Does Clara know snacks? I don't know. But I know that I don't know state flowers the way
Right. And
she
you have a
does.
better chance against her in junk food than you do in state flowers.
Exactly. So I do that. Then I just need two more to category swap again. So that was going to be combat films, which I'm now kicking myself for not doing sooner.
Sure.
I just talked to Jonathan about this off air. And then also state nicknames. We've name dropped Andre before. It was like I have to come for this man and I know this category. Then I was going to swap flowers into podcasters
Oh,
and I was going to
wow.
make Jonathan dual flowers because
That would
I
have been
don't think
tough.
you knew state flowers.
I was
Maybe you
studying
did.
that. I was studying them a little, but not a lot.
Yeah.
Like I was one that I was studying before we got to Ireland, but then once we got to the placement on the floor, I stopped studying it because I was like, I'll probably not. I probably won't do this.
There were
Yeah,
so many things where I was like, I know enough about this that I could beat the
sure.
person who would inherit it via my offense. I was going to give Sergio American Revolution.
Well,
It was on the
that's the
list.
thing that was
Ooh,
scary was like the thing that was
dirty.
scary was like I was like, okay, like if he is able to execute this plan, it's like how can anyone prepare for it because you don't know where he's going to go and what he's going to swap you with. And I was legitimately like this was the like when you beat Kelsey, the feeling that I had was the feeling that I had at the beginning of the first episode, which was, oh no, I'm terrified.
Totally
Like,
agree.
you
Totally
That's
agree.
know,
So,
good. That makes me happy.
yeah,
because no, because you, like I said, and just to go back to that point, you were very clear about what your intentions were, especially with those 40K in your pocket. And I'm telling you, man, someone that's comfortable, someone that's feeling themselves a little loose with the interactions, like that's intimidating, man, because that's a dangerous individual, right? Someone that's confident in their own skin right now and feeling good about where they're at in life, that's dangerous. And so when he beat Kelsey, first of all, Kelsey, sharp
yeah.
competitor, fierce competitor, and he took her down. I was like, okay, we're about to see another Aaron run
What
with
a
Luke here. And
difficult duel, by the way.
Oh man, that was
the judges one,
so.
yeah,
So
And I know you
look at
both were studying.
if you look at that face right there, that face is so nervous because I was like, wait a second, Kelsey's really good at this game. I was like, she's
yeah,
really, really sharp and she's fast. And not only that, because it's great to be knowledgeable and it's great to be fast. She was calm. She beat Elizabeth with 3 seconds on the clock, and you could not tell. And I promise you, the reason she beat Christina, watch that duel again. Christina is so nervous. Kelsey is so calm. I love Christina, but it's like Kelsey
Christina Blank. Christina forgot, even though
Avenue.
they knew, and Kelsey messed up first with the Avenue stuff. So
Exactly.
she witnessed Kelsey mess up, not forgetting to say Avenue, but then Kelsey remembered she didn't pass. She was just saying it over and over, and then she was like, "Oh right, they told us we have to say the full name." She said it, and then she forgot to say it. Even though she said it for other things, she said Indiana Avenue. Like
yeah,
I was listening, I was like,
Yeah.
it's not like she remembered,
yeah.
but then she forgot. And
Yeah.
yeah, that's so true. So
But yeah, when I'm going into that judges, and once again, as we've talked about before on the show, you both know, I didn't like judges. I didn't
right,
want that
yeah,
category. That's not something I would have normally picked on my run if I was challenging other people. Like I don't watch reality shows and I don't watch court shows. So
okay,
like why would I want that? The only
yeah,
reason I knew it is because I studied my butt off. It was
yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, and it was, and I believe Kelsey studied too. She got some that were, I think most of America didn't get, but like it was
Yeah.
such a broad category. It was not just all of the entertainment judges and the in the reality shows. It was also all of the court TV judges, Judge Judy, Judge Joe Brown, Judge Mathis. There's
And
so many that they
fictional
didn't do. And
judges.
then it was
We had
fictional judges from
we had
random movies and
from
television
The
shows.
Simpsons.
The
Yeah,
Simpsons, from The Hunchback of Notre Dame, like who? No,
yeah,
Fresh
That's
Prince of Bel
crazy.
Air, like
yeah.
the Night Court, like it's just like random TV and Judge Snyder, Luke, that pull for. I remembered I knew Judge Snyder only because I studied Simpsons characters. So again, like the categories that I already knew, I went so deep into because I was like, they're not tripping me up on squat. I'm not losing. Like if I'm challenging a category I know, I'm not losing
Yeah.
on some random thing that you're throwing at me. I'll learn that because I already know all the other stuff. And I remember I knew Judge Snyder because of The Simpsons. But when it came up on
Yeah.
the entertainment judges, I was like, if I was just studying entertainment judges, there's no chance I would have
No
ever studied
chance.
that.
Anything
I
animated,
I
honestly, I
had
would
to
have stayed away
I
from anything animated. That was a
bro, I
sick
studied it.
pool.
I studied
Deep.
it. I studied I think 80 judges. And somehow I missed the new night court judge
Right.
on that list. But otherwise like Judge Snyder was in there. And
That's
I
sick.
literally, my mnemonic for him was just, it's an S, it's Simpsons. Think of the Simpsons, think of an S, it'll get you to
Wow.
Snyder. So,
Incredible. Okay,
Psycho.
okay, so you said you picked sense, which makes sense, and so had you studied sense?
no, I
Right.
hadn't studied sense at all, which was a terrible choice. And as soon as I told my family that, they started roasting me. I completely lost the forest through the trees. So everything that I just listed off to you was this master plan, and it came down to picking and choosing what I was going to study for. I picked sense to get to presidents. What had I
Because you had
studied a
studied president.
shnikes ton of? Presidents. And what had I
Right.
studied? Nothing of. It was sense because I was like, I know what stuff. I know smells. It's just why would I
Yeah,
study
it'll
that?
just be like easy stuff, which for the most part it was.
Exactly. It was. It was.
So mothballs.
until mothballs. Yeah, well, but mothballs cost me less time than Jasmine did. It was it's just whack.
Right,
And
right.
then it did feel bad when I was watching with people, and then some of the people I'm watching with go, Jasmine. I was like, oh great, well you guys knew it. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I didn't, but
So the people I was watching with, not every, I would say probably a third of them knew Jasmine. And then I was watching with 13 other people, not including myself, zero people got
Got
new
mothballs.
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 Now,
Yeah.
Nobody.
now Luke knows this.
Yep,
Go ahead.
same.
Yeah, you knew it. We know
Yeah, I
you
was
knew
watching
it.
with a bunch of people tonight too, and nobody said mothballs, which made
Right.
me feel better.
And I was going to say for the people listening or watching, Luke knows what I'm about to say, which is I was next to Sense, as was Luke, this whole game. And I had Sense, Phobias, and Dollar Store next to me to start. And Mattel was the only one that was like, this is a knowledge category. As we've discussed, like, I was like, I'm not going for Sergio. He seems like he knows his stuff. I have these three very speed categories around me. But I remember after the first day and like people like sometimes it was like random things like especially like pet supplies for instance and like at the end they're throwing out something hard somebody whoever it felt like a hot potato and it's like whoever gets stuck or musical chairs whoever gets stuck with luck of the draw with this hard thing they're going to lose. And so I remember at that point I was like, you know what, let me freaking study Sense, like because I was like there are definitely some pictures they're going to throw up there I don't know. And so I looked up, I did a Google search and I found a website that listed like the best 100 smells on Earth or whatever the heck it was. And I looked through that list, and I would say probably like 85-90% of that list was things that like you don't even have to look up. It's like freaking like coffee or cinnamon buns and stuff like that. But then
Exactly.
there were several things where I was like, oh, what does this look like? Saffron, jasmine, lavender. I was like, let me make sure I look at a bunch of pictures just so like when they throw this because they might put this up, I want to know what that is. And one of the things on this list was mothballs. And I looked at it and I was like, mothballs? What the hell even is that? And I Google
Right.
searched it and it was that picture. Like it was like
That's
almost literally
crazy.
that picture. And
That's
I
crazy.
remember looking at it and being like, if I saw this before I looked at it when I was studying, I was like, if I saw this in the duel, I would say mints. I would say
Yep.
mints, and I'd be like, what the heck is it? And I would pass because I don't know what it
Yep.
is. And I was like, mothballs, mothballs. And I was just kept looking at it like, okay, mothballs. So when it came up in the duel, I was like, oh my God, it's freaking moth. I was so
You
When
like,
came right up
when
to
I
me. I remember. You're like, dude,
yeah,
I knew
yeah.
mothballs. I was like, yeah, okay, cool, Jonathan.
you're like, all right,
You're
so
like
what?
Luke's dead. Yeah, I remember going down the same mint rabbit hole. I said eggs. I just see this flash of white. I'm like, is that eggs? And then I was like, no, that's ridiculous. Pass. And then as soon as I passed, before I saw what it was, I was like, oh my God, that was breath mints. Why did I not say breath mints? And then it showed mothballs, and I was like, oh, bless and release that, dude. I was like, I was not getting
Yes,
that.
you're never getting
So,
that. Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, it was a mistake. It was a huge mistake to not challenge something that I actually had studied,
And
but I had my strategy. I thought it was the right move, and that's what I was going to do.
And it was interesting
And
because Charlie passed on cigars in the
Cigars.
beginning, which was like,
I lost it. Did you see me for that? I was like,
Yeah,
you
you did.
lost it.
oh my
I had
God.
at one point in that duel, I had a 9 second lead.
And were you thinking like, well, were you already thinking ahead? Like, all right, well, this is
Oh, I
over.
was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was. And then you can see when you're watching it, my hands were behind my back, and then I switched to my hands at my front once I got a little panicked, and then
Right.
it
And it
was.
was,
But
I think it was Jasmine more so than weirdly, it was Jasmine more so than Mothballs that took you out.
yeah, because well, the other thing, so Jasmine, the leaves of that jasmine tree looked like rhododendron, which is all throughout like North Carolina where I grew up.
Hmm.
And so I was like, is that rhododendron? But then I was like, it doesn't have flowers like that. And so I went through this whole like lightning fast thing in my brain. Whereas the mothballs, I was like, I don't know what that is. So I almost just said pass on Jasmine. And I was like, I would kick myself if I didn't just say flowers and then move
Totally.
on. But clearly, they're not going to show one type of flower and the
Right,
answer is
right,
going to be
right,
flowers.
right, right.
So it was just, it's tough. It's tough. It's also, it's frustrating because now that I've lost, I'm looking back and I'm like, dang, man, like I would have known cigars, but would Charlie have known Jasmine? Would he have known mothballs? Maybe,
Would you
probably. I
have
mean, it's
known what was it, durian?
durian. I did know durian
Really?
because of Survivor, because of watching
Um,
Survivor, and when they did early seasons doing disgusting food challenges. I have just known what durian looks like since I was like 16 because of Survivor.
okay, because I did think
But it
that was clearly a hard one, right? Like
that
that
was
was a
That was
that was the
clearly,
hard
difficult.
one that
Yeah.
Charlie
yeah,
got. Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
So
Yeah.
when he got that, I was like, because again, to me, this was an even duel in terms of like the placement of things that were hard and things that were easy. I
Yeah.
think people complain about this stuff all the time, but and then like every now and then it does feel like, oh man, it feels like the hard stuff was really weighted to one side,
Hmm.
not even factoring in passes. But this one kind of felt like, okay, they like had a couple of hard ones, and because he got Basil too, which is not maybe super hard, but it's not easy. Like you need to
No,
know like a lot
absolutely.
of the different those leaves and stuff, they look similar. So
Yeah. Yeah.
anyway,
It was
that
brutal.
was brutal, but I was so
You
relieved.
were thrilled. You were thrilled. Yeah, I would have
I
been
was
if I wasn't me,
Sergio,
I
were
too
you?
would have been thrilled.
I was ecstatic, man. I
I
listen. I was bummed. I was
yeah,
bummed
we were
because it
bummed to
limited
lose a
my.
friend for sure.
Yes,
Yeah.
of course. But a competitor like you being off the board, man, it
Yeah, it
like
felt so good.
the relief that you feel knowing that you no longer have to worry about someone that you like genuinely lost sleep over.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
It feels good, man. It sucks to say, but it felt good. Like, oh man, I don't gotta worry about this guy anymore. Like, so,
Yeah.
but
I
that
mean,
just,
that's
that's
a
a
huge
testament.
compliment. I
Yeah, it's a
appreciate that.
testament
Yeah.
to how psychotic you were competitive wise. But yeah, it was bittersweet. Obviously, I was bummed to see you go, and but yeah, I was like, you know what? And I was still bummed because you screwed me over in a way where like now I'm really trapped between podcasters and the whale, which I was really. Me and Jonathan spoke about this when you first got eliminated and junk food became the whale. We both said, listen, if either one of us gets randomized right here with two duels ago, like we know the strategy. It's go for the whale or go for something else and then the whale. But there's no way
I
we
mean, let's
play one
talk
duel
about
and go
that
back.
because we're not going to have Charlie on the show. What was Charlie thinking? You cannot
well,
go back. That's
t-
insane.
to be
No, you
fair,
can't.
the I
No, you
just
can't. You can't.
to be
I
fair
was going to
to
say
Charlie,
I'm gonna fight you hard
you
on
can
this
fight
side.
me.
Yeah,
You can
me
fight me
too.
hard, but to be fair to Charlie, Elizabeth decided to keep playing. She lost. Kelsey decided to keep playing. She lost. You decided to keep playing. You lost. I cannot fault somebody for going, hey, man, I just saw three people try to take on somebody who are all very clearly very good competitors. They all decided to keep playing. All of them lost. I have two more duels left. I have junk food, which is like it's like junk food is I think everybody's looking at junk food the way that we've all been looking at every food category, which is like, I don't know, I think we all can do this. Like, what are we not going to know? It's food. And so I hope that one person gets randomized away from me or doesn't duel me, and that's one duel. But if I have to duel anyway, then at least let me duel in this category first, and then I get to pick one more and I win.
I just Charlie could have played biology. He's a biologist.
Right.
It's like he could
I,
have done.
what it tells me is he didn't, one, he was either super nervous, or two, he didn't have a plan.
No, and
I
it has
don't
to
know
be
if he
it
had a
has to be the
plan.
latter. It has to be the
Yeah.
latter. Simply because, listen to me, there is no chance that you feel that you can hide. You have over 40 daggum pieces of the floor. You're touching probably
Sure.
every single person. No matter who gets randomized next, they are 95% likely to be touching you, A, and B, coming after you. Because it's so late in the
Yeah.
episode, everybody knows that. We've watched it for 5 episodes now, where if you have a chance at the end of the episode, you're coming after it. You
You
cannot
have
hide
to.
as the whale.
I'm trying
It has
to,
been,
I
you
want to
cannot
look
defend
up,
this.
I know.
Yeah,
I
I
would,
mean, so
yeah.
whatever you're looking up, look it up. But in the
Okay.
meantime, the other thing is I that makes me feel like Charlie didn't have a plan. And this is also why I challenged him in a category I hadn't studied because I fully underestimated him. Charlie told me when I was talking about like what are you hoping to get out of this experience? He was like, I want my mom to see me win a duel. That's what he said. which is a
He
very
accomplished
sweet
his
answer.
mission.
And he completed that mission, and then he was immediately taken out because he didn't have a plan. Now, what can I say? I only won one more duel than Charlie. Charlie beat me, and I had the plan to end all plans. So it's like, does it do enough? No, but it was clearly an error to go back. I think the
Okay.
other thing is when you inherit, obviously, I don't know what happens with Jonathan. So for those listening, I'm not like telling you anything you can't speculate yourself. But when you have a whale that big, you have to say sayonara to the 250. It's just like, how far can I get now? Especially in episode 6. So it's like Charlie has that. He knows he's not going to survive 6 more episodes and win $250,000. That's impossible.
And that
So it's
statement was
just
true back in episode 3, right? Like we've
exactly.
seen that from episode 3, the whale now being larger than it's ever been in previous seasons is now going to be a different person every week, just because the chances of surviving 9 duels, 8
All
duels,
right.
whatever an episode is so slim.
I got it.
Exactly. All right, talk to us.
I might be wrong. I might be wrong because I'm just going based off of what I know the floor to be and the original grid. But I believe this is correct. I might be off by 1 or 2. There were 17 people that could have been randomized who were not touching the whale. They were not like I can duel the whale on my first duel.
Right.
Only 17 out of I don't know how many more people.
There's 50 left at the end of the episode, so let's say about 30.
Yeah.
So
So a
So
coin
there's
toss.
about a 28, no, it's like 28%. You're looking
but
at a
it's
28%
less.
chance that someone doesn't have the ability to
I'm just
challenge
saying there wasn't 0% or even what like
No.
there was a decent amount of people. A lot of them are clustered actually in the north right corner who
Yeah.
if they were randomized, it would have taken them at least one duel to get to Charlie. So I think he was in his mind, and if he ever is on one of the other podcasts, we'll hear it. But like I think in his mind, he was probably thinking, "Oh, it would be nice to get just at least one duel out of
Oh,
the
of
way
course.
before I have to duel, so I don't have to go 3 in a row."
So let's move on to Charlie's second duel, which is you get randomized, Jonathan, and you were ecstatic. It looked
I
familiar. I've been there.
I was I couldn't have been more pumped. It was also nerves for sure. I was scared, but like I was also so thrilled to be given a chance to go for the money because as we've been talking about, and at this point, come on, unless you're in this like north right corner where Molly is and those people, I was just like, the chances of me going, oh, let me just do my 1, 2, 3 time boost sit. I'm like, for what? The whale is here. I want to embrace it. I want a shot. And as we all know, your chances of winning $20,000 being randomized at the end of an episode goes up exponentially because you
So
don't
much
have to
higher.
hold the thing off for the whole episode. And so I was randomized. Now, do I wish it was Harry Potter in the middle still? Of course. Was I planning on dueling junk food? Not at all. It was never in my it was never in my plans. Like
Until you almost got randomized. And I wish they would have shown
right,
this, but
right.
two people before, or right when you got randomized, me and Jonathan had a conversation where it's like, hey, this is it.
Correct.
If we get randomized, we are going 1-2, winning the episode, and then doing our thing. We knew what it would have meant because I even joked, remember, Jonathan? I was like, hey, if I win, I can find a way to surround you with Mattel. Wouldn't that be funny?
Right.
And you're like, oh, I don't know. Maybe it's better if I surrounded you with podcasters. So we made these jokes, and it was right when he got randomized, and they didn't show this either, but as soon as he got randomized, it was such a bittersweet moment for me. I hung my head immediately
Right.
because I knew what was going to happen. I've been next to Jonathan for 6 days now, 5 days, whatever it was, and I knew who he was. I knew what kind of competitor he was. I knew he was sharp as nails. So I knew the second he had an opportunity, he was going to play it the exact same way that I was discussing with him. And I knew what that meant. I knew he was going to go after junk food. I knew he was going to win. I knew he was going to engulf me. And I said that to Rob, right? Because Rob actually spoke to me before he spoke to you. They didn't show it, but he was like, why are you nervous, Mattel? What's going on? And I was like, well, I'll tell you, man. I was like, from day one, there was one thing I did not want to happen, and it's about to happen. I knew you were winning 20K. That's why I begged production to let me interrupt your interview. I was like, listen, we know what's happening here. Even before it happened, like this guy's he's going on his run. And so I was dejected in a way because of what I felt it meant for me,
Right.
but so happy because I was like, man, if it wasn't him, it would have been me. And I feel like either one of us get randomized there.
Right.
It plays the same. I think the same because I think we both had the plan of going after
Totally.
combat films, junk food, and then playing our way after that. So to watch it play out, man, it was surreal, man. It was so incredible to like see you like talk the talk, right? Because we were talking so much smack all season, but to talk that talk, especially during that episode, and then to like watch you walk the walk was like it was surreal, man. It was such a moment
Oh,
for me. I can only imagine what it was for you.
yeah, thank you. Look, I will say I do wish they showed that. And at the same time, I kind of love that they like tease like, oh, is he gonna go after Sergio? That's what the edit made it
Yeah,
seem
right.
like. Is he gonna go after
Yeah.
Sergio? And the people was watching it with like looked at me and they're like, no, you're
You
not.
better not. You
They're
better not.
not. Like they all thought it was coming. They all thought that was coming. And then when it didn't happen, like that was cool. But yes, that was cool. And like but no, man, I got to tell you, of course, I was going after junk food. There's no doubt in my mind. There was no conversation. Like that was 100% happening no matter what. But I was nervous. I was legitimately nervous, not necessarily because I was scared of Charlie, though he did super well in sense. Like it was a close duel. Like he I think obviously did better than any of us probably expected. And that's not to say we didn't think he was going to be a competitor. It was just like, oh, this set seemed like
Oh,
he's this
I fully
soft-spoken
underestimated him.
person.
Fully
Yeah,
underestimated
he's
him.
younger. But yeah, so I was like, I don't know what I was like, I know he didn't study it. I know I didn't study it. And so like, is this gonna be just one of those duels where like one of us gets stuck with a hard thing and then that's what
Yeah.
loses it?
Let's talk about a little controversy in this duel.
Oh,
Say
I am
say
ready to
the
talk. I
word.
am ready to talk about this. Okay, so
This is
actually,
so
let
frustrating to me.
me just set the stage for everybody too, because whatever I haven't read the comments online yet, and I'm sure people will be talking about this. I want to make it abundantly clear before you duel, the producers come up to you and they explain the actual rules, right? Not what Rob says, like what you're going to expect, what you're going to see, what they're going to accept as correct answers, and what they will not accept as correct answers. Before we started this duel, they told us, hey, you are going to see specific junk food. You need to say the brand name. You cannot say the generic name. For instance, and I don't remember exactly what their for instances was, but I will use my own. Like, they would be like, for instance, if you see soda, if you see Coca-Cola and you say soda, that will be wrong. It is Coke.
Right.
It is Coca-Cola. Soda will not be accepted. If you see like an Entenmann's crumble donut, you need to say Entenmann's crumbled donut. We will not accept crumbled donut. That will not be accepted. And we were like, bet, right? I was like, okay, I know what this means. What does this mean? It's exactly what you saw in the duel, which was Slim Jim comes up. If my man said beef jerky, he would have been wrong. I can bet you at home, like many Americans were saying beef jerky. And then Slim Jim came up. Oh, well, that's the same thing. No, not the same thing. There are many brands of beef jerky. The brand they showed was Slim Jim. Now go ahead and say what you want to say.
But
Go ahead and say what you want to say.
You cannot say the word vanilla wafers without saying the word Nilla wafers. There's no way to say that. So if I saw a picture of Abraham Lincoln and I said Jordan Abraham Lincoln,
That would be
are they
incorrect.
not going to give that to me?
No, that would be incorrect. Of course it would be incorrect because that's not the
No,
name.
they
You
would
said
absolutely they would absolutely give that to me because they would be like,
No,
that's just an extra thing on there.
Okay, here, Luke. Do you ever
Vanilla
watch?
wafer.
Do you
say
ever watch?
the words?
Well, first of all,
You can't say it without saying Nilla wafer.
two things.
The other
One,
thing, it's completely moot. It's completely moot.
well, of course
Charlie
it's moot.
still would have lost.
But I'm still going to argue this point. Two things. One, if you watch, don't forget
for a living.
if you watch Name That Tune, right? For instance, Name That Tune is a show where people hear music and they have to say the song. If you say in Name That Tune, a lot of times, if you say too many words, if the song is, this has happened to me in trivia. Like, Rihanna has a song that is called, oh, flip. I'm trying to
Oh,
think
you're
of
about
what.
to give
I'm
rage.
talking about The Floor, hosted by Rob Lowe.
Anyway, okay. What I'm saying is, in trivia games, if you say more words than what the song title is, that is considered incorrect because it's not the correct. Even though the song title is within that, you said too many words, and that was wrong. And then let's move that. Let's go to the floor. Vanilla wafer is the generic term of that cookie. There are other vanilla wafers. There are other vanilla wafers. What they showed was Nilla wafers, and not only that, let me tell you something right now, Luke. When my man, I wasn't looking at the like we see our screens on the opposite sides, right? So I'm looking at my screen. When I say a correct answer, nothing's showing up. So I don't know what this other person's guessing unless I look to the side. But most of the time, I wasn't really doing that because you're just trying to focus on your own screen. I forgot what I said beforehand. I heard him say vanilla wafer, and I immediately was like, wrong. I didn't. I'll tell you something right now. I did not even see the picture, and I was like, I know what it is. It's Nilla wafer, and you're wrong. It's not vanilla wafer. And he said it twice, and I was like, you know what? Guess what my favorite dessert is? My
Nilla
favorite
wafers.
dessert:
Pudding?
Nilla wafer banana pudding. Not vanilla wafer banana pudding, Nilla wafer banana pudding.
It is the
My
same
man was wrong.
word.
It is
same,
not the same word. It is
well,
called Nilla wafers.
Because the other thing is, you're arguing in a world of absolute truths. Which
I'm
is
arguing the
not,
world of the rules that were set before us by the people there.
Ultimately, you watch this season, you watch this show. Do these people follow their rules to a T? Of course not.
Not always, but this one is so easy. It's so blatant.
No. You cannot say. I'm just as someone who respects the English language, you just cannot say that word without saying that other word.
I think
that's all
to
there
me,
is to
Luke,
it.
it's the same thing. It's the same thing as somebody going Emma Blunt. It's like you said the wrong thing first, but Blunt.
Emily does not exist within the word Emma.
No, but that's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm. Vanilla is not Nilla. Those are two different words.
It's literally just two extra letters.
What?
It's one
So
syllable.
what?
It's one syllable.
It's two different words.
What if he had gone vanilla wafer?
So here. All right, I'll say
went
this real quick.
And then he went Nilla wafer. Then they would have given it to him
counted.
because they would have heard him say Nilla wafer by itself. But that's not what he said because he didn't know the answer. Luke, he didn't know the answer.
No, and you know what? Here,
He
let me
didn't know the
just
answer.
Y'all are just gonna have to drop a comment. You're gonna have to tell us what you think.
Wait, Luke, hold on. I want you to answer this question. Do you think that he knew the answer was Nilla wafer?
No, because he passed.
Okay, so
No,
I
I
don't
think
know
he was
what we're
stuck on
arguing about.
Yeah, no. So let me just.
He didn't know the answer.
But you don't need to. You don't need to know the answer if you said the answer.
Then that's fair. But to John's point, though, you have to know that there is a generic version, right? So there are vanilla wafers out there, and that, I guess, if I'm playing devil's advocate,
it just happens to be what people call that cookie, because guess where the root of the word Nilla comes from?
Yes,
vanilla.
Yes,
correct.
Vanilla.
Yeah, but like when John called Ding Dong's hostess, they didn't give it to him, right? Like they're like, no, you gotta say Ding Dongs, right?
Well, hostess is the brand.
By the way, the reason
the
reason I said hostess was because I was about to say hostess cupcakes. And then I realized hostess was on the thing, and I was like hostess. And then I was like, that's not the cupcakes; those are ding.
That's like saying if Jonathan had said ding ding dongs, they wouldn't have given it to him. That would be insane.
That wouldn't be insane. That would be correct. Why would they give that to me? That's wrong.
You said the right words. You literally said the right words in the right order.
That's ridiculous. What you're saying is insane to me. Why should he get a correct answer on some weird thing of like, well, within your incorrect answer was the correct answer. It's the incorrect answer.
But it's not like we're having complex. This will be the last. It's not like we're doing a complex formula here. It's the difference between Nilla wafer and vanilla wafer.
Right.
Listen to the words I just said. Listen to the words I just said. I just said it in the same order.
Two letters can completely change the meaning of a word. What I don't.
But it's not the meaning. It's the same thing. It's
But
the
it's
same
not.
meaning.
The product name is
They're-
Nilla wafer.
It's the same thing.
People, I promise we'll
It's
try to edit
literally
this down to just
What?
6
Oh
minutes.
my God.
It's not the same
Uh,
thing.
We have
If
to
it was
move
the
on.
same thing, then the product was be called vanilla wafers, and it's not.
No, the only reason it's not called vanilla wafer is because they just wanted to make themselves different, but they know what they're selling
Correct.
is vanilla wafers.
No, it's because vanilla wafer is a generic term, which is explicitly what they told us would not count.
That's
For
insane.
this
just
purpose,
insane.
because they knew somebody like you would come and be like, "Well, it's basically the same thing." No, it's not the same thing. Two different words.
I
One is
didn't say
vanilla and one is
basically.
nilla.
No, there is no world in which a vanilla wafer is not a vanilla wafer. It's a square and a rectangle situation.
Oh
It's-
no,
I mean-
Luke.
All
Oh
right.
wait, Luke. That's a great point. That's a great point.
No,
No.
don't do this.
No.
until right.
That's a no,
You're
no,
not gonna like
no, no,
where
no.
This goes.
You just said an incorrect thing. A square is a rectangle, but a rectangle is not a square. So if
That's what I'm
somebody
telling you.
sees
That's
it,
what I said.
correct, and so he said the incorrect thing.
No.
If they
because
show a square, you
all-
can't say rectangle.
yes, you could. Yes, you could. Because a square is a rectangle. You just can't see a rectangle and say it's a square.
Oh, you done dabbed on you.
Oh my God!
Thank
All
you for
right.
joining us. On
We
the
have to
Floor
move on. Let's talk
Play
about
Pod.
before we go. Before we still
Insane.
there's still some stuff with Jonathan we have to talk about, which is
My
combat.
man didn't
films.
know mothballs, and he's trying to come at me for Nilla wafers.
13 people didn't need mothballs in your own home.
It's true. It's true. Nobody knew. All right. Okay. Well, we argued so much about this because anyway, I was very. By the way, we didn't get to talk about everything that was great about this duel, which was I would have gotten everything that Charlie got wrong. I would have gotten right. I would have said Nilla wafer. I would have said the correct answer. I would have said Pop-Tart. I would have said what else did he get wrong?
Bar.
Klondike bar. Are you kidding me?
There's no excusing Pop-Tarts and Klondike bars. That's why I said it's all moot.
And
because
there's no
Charlie
excusing
still
Nilla
would have
wafer, my
lost.
favorite freaking dessert and cookie. There's no excusing it. He should know what that is.
He's hurting on that one. He hot over that.
He
man.
should.
He hot.
No, because it's my favorite dessert. You're not gonna.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
I agree. It's crazy he didn't know it.
Hey,
I agree that. I agree.
I-
It's crazy he didn't know that. And guess who
That's
would have
not what
known
I'm
it? Guess
saying.
who would have known it? Me. Guess who would have gotten the right answer? This guy. You know what else he probably wouldn't have gotten? Icy. Guys, let me tell you something that's so kismet. When I go to AMC, I am an AMC A-listed, and I go see movies. Every time I go to the movie theater, I get an icy. You know what everybody here in this freaking house said when they saw that?
Did they say Slurpee?
Of course, because that's what everybody in America is going to say. Slurpee. Maybe they say slushy. Both of those would have been what, Luke? Incorrect. That's right.
Those would have been incorrect because they don't have the word icy in
Here we
them.
go.
Wait, Luke,
What are we
if they
talking
said
about?
ice, would
What
that
if they
have
said
count?
icy slushy?
What if they said
What if they
ice?
said icy slushy?
Not icy slushy. What if they said ice?
No, that's not the same
Well,
word.
it's spelled ICEE.
That's icy. You're conflating here. You're not understanding my argument clearly. I'm
No,
saying
I
the
understand your
exact
argument.
Same words.
You're
He's just
not.
being
Combat
hyperbolic
films.
because it's
Talk
his
to me of
favorite
combat
dessert,
films.
man.
That's like saying I said because, and cause is in the word because, so that's the same thing.
Exactly.
Ooh,
I said
ooh,
cause,
Mike.
but then it's like because it could be cause, but
You're
that's
literally-
spelled the same way, and I just added 2 letters to it.
It's the
I don't
same
think that's
word.
making the
It's
point. you
not the
want
same
to
word.
make.
Cause and because
Listen
is
to Sergio. He knows. If I said you said why and I said because or I said cause, I'm saying the same thing. It's the same thing. Language is a tool. Language
It's
is
not the
language is
same
not
thing.
some. It's
And
not
you're
some
manipulating
construct.
it, Luke. No, you're manipulating it a bit here.
Is moan and be moan the same word?
No, because they don't have the same meaning.
Exactly.
Exactly, Luke.
But vanilla wafer and nilla wafer are the same meaning. It's
No,
the
one
same
is a
meaning in the same word.
Luke.
Okay.
Literally every nilla wafer.
One is trademarked. One is trademarked and the other is not.
That does
We should
that.
have had
Lawyer,
this
you should know
conversation
that.
with Kelsey because she's an English teacher and she would have just helped us through this whole thing. So
We'll talk to
let
Kelsey. I want everyone's opinion. I want
no,
everyone's opinion.
no,
Everybody
no.
needs to be messaging us. Everybody needs to be in the comments of YouTube. Everybody needs to be on our Spotify. Everybody needs to be
This was
sending me
supposed to be a
letters.
30-minute segment, gentlemen. We are
I know,
leaking
I
into an
know.
hour
We
and
really have gone
50.
on too long. Let's talk about combat films.
I
So,
lost it when
There's not
Fight
much to
Club
talk
was
about.
passed on. Yeah, I had lost it when we didn't see Fight Club being said. Once I saw that, I knew it was over. I knew Jonathan was taking it down. I knew he was winning 20K, and I am just looking forward to what he's going to do for episode 7. Boy,
The
I will
look in
smash.
Bob's
Come,
eye when I forgot what it was. Okay, so I choose combat films. This was a extremely terrifying moment for me because even though in terms of trying to last as long as I possibly can, this was the right move. It felt like a dumb move to try to win 20K because the smartest way to for me to win 20K would be to go back down to the floor and defend podcasters because I just knew I would beat anybody in it. I was like, if I stay one and if I duel one more and I lose, I will have just bet 20K on something that I did not study combat films at all. Now I know movies, I play movie games all the time, I watch
yeah,
movies all the time. So I was confident in the category, but I didn't know who I was playing. I never talked to Bob. I didn't know anything about him. I didn't know if he was a competitor or not. Like I didn't know if he was studying or not. Like I literally knew absolutely nothing about
he
him.
could have been like a genius, like a photographic memory.
And I've watched episodes of The Floor where people like, I know this thing, and they take on somebody, and the other person's like, yeah, but I know it better. And they just beat them.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen that happen many times. And so I was also kind of like, there were other things that I could have dueled, and I was like thinking about those too. And I just was like, I think combat films, I feel like I couldn't think of a film that I wouldn't know, which obviously that doesn't make any sense. But I was just like, yeah, okay, let's do it. And I was shaking, and then obviously I get Saving Private Ryan, which I thought was going to be the first because I always
Yeah.
think like what's going to be the first
I
one.
remember you mentioned
Yeah.
that in the Matrix. You're like, I think we're gonna see Saving Private Ryan and Matrix. Those were
Right.
two that you had mentioned. And just real quick, I'd like to say like that was you. You're nervous and all that, but that's you being true to yourself, man. You said it on the telecast, and I love that the first real words that came out of your mouth were like, "I love this game," right? Because
Right.
it really paid a testament to like what it was like to be in it, man. Like you were engulfed in it. You were dedicated. You were living, breathing, eating, sleeping the floor. And that was evident when those emotions poured out of you, right? Where you were just like, I love this game because it was, you stayed true to you, man. I can see it, right? And as someone that got close with you during the filming process, I could see the hesitation. I could see the questioning yourself. And I feel like in that moment, you found something out about yourself, right? And I
Mm,
think that's why you said what you said. You could chime in on it, but when you said I had to stay true to myself, that's what I took from it.
yes.
I was like, this guy was so, all you kept talking about is how aggressive you would be and how you wanted to be. And then once you got up there, you were like, maybe I don't, right? And then you're like, no, screw that, man. Like I said, I was gonna do this. I said I was gonna stay aggressive. I had a game plan. Like let's freaking stick to it. And I saw that, man. I saw that up there, and the telecast kind of caught it a little bit, but it was a treat to see, man. It was a treat to see
Thank you.
someone like question themselves, doubt themselves, but then like overcome those feelings of just insecurity or whatever it is you felt up there because it was evident to me. And to overcome that and like just buckle down, right? And I was, oh man, that was so cool to see. I didn't even know what to say. That's why I had to go into the interview room, man. I was like, this guy did exactly what he said he was gonna do, even though I could see you just you were questioning it, man. It was dope. It was dope to see.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Yeah. Yeah, it was yeah, the elation afterwards was like obviously like you saw it was like overwhelming. Like during the right when he passed on Fight Club in that for like that was the first movie he got, right?
First,
Like
yeah.
and he
Yeah.
and I didn't see the thing. I just saw the pass and I heard him say pass and then I saw Fight Club and when I saw that I was like, "Oh my God."
Yeah.
I'm good.
I knew the duel wasn't even close to over at that point, but I was like Oh my God, I think I'm about to win
That
$20,000.
that's not the 20K sentiment, but that's how I felt with Charlie when he passed on cigars. It's
Right.
just like this. It's like that's the first thing you got and you
Yeah.
passed, and you get this like sense of confidence. To Bob's credit, the one thing I'll say is I did not realize that combat films what combat films was going to be. I thought it was going to be like all
War.
guns and like war
Mhm.
Right.
and
So I know a lot of people thought that, and maybe he thought that too. To me, if you thought that, then you weren't looking at that prompt. Like
Mhm.
the
what
prompt
did it
kind of
say?
the prompt said like name these movies with epic fight scenes, and then
Fight
at the
scenes.
end
That's
of
why
it,
you mentioned
that's
Matrix,
why I said the
Crouching
Matrix.
Tiger.
Hmm.
At the end of it,
Mhm.
it said "Yippee Ki which is from Die Hard,
Oh,
and I
that's
was like,
right. That's
and
Die
I
right.
was
Hard.
like, "Yippee!" To me, that was a clue. It was like, okay, if Die Hard's in it, that has nothing to do with war. So these aren't just war films. I did study some of those
Yeah,
because I was like, what are some of these older war films that I? But I was like, it's gonna be films that just have fights in them,
fighting in them.
like
Yeah.
a fun fight scene, and maybe that threw him off. That being said, he missed Apocalypse Now, which is maybe one of the most famous
Yeah,
war films there
that's true.
is.
I was shook by that too. It was also
So
interesting that he
yeah,
recognized Kill Bill but not Inglourious Bastards. I was like, I feel like people that know
Yeah,
Tarantino
Tarantino.
just.
yeah,
But the other thing is that's after a few passes. It, maybe Bob's
Yeah.
brain was just cooked at that point. Like
yeah. I
I am so
saw
done now.
there was one time I remember looking at him when at a certain point I was no longer on edge, and so I was like, when he was passing, I was like looking to the side to see the images that he was passing on, and I was looking at him. And I remember one time he said pass, and it looked like the hope was draining from his eyes. And I was like, oh no. I felt so
I mean,
bad. I was like, this guy is,
Bob
yeah.
lived what all floor contestants don't want to live, which is failing to defend your own category
Yeah.
like
And like
that.
yeah, like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's hard.
That is the
That's really
worst
hard.
nightmare.
Yeah,
Mhm.
So
yeah,
I won that with 37 seconds left. I think I
yeah.
only had to guess like what did I had Saving Private Ryan, Creed, and I
Uh-huh.
forgot one other one. I
Did you
forgot.
have
I don't
Karate
know if
Kid?
it's gonna get much easier than
No,
that,
he
man.
had
He had Karate Kid. Yeah. Yeah. Well, keep in mind, Aaron won a duel with
oh
46
300,
seconds left.
300.
300 is the other one you had. Yeah. When Vicky didn't know like a single TED Talk. That was tough.
Yeah, so great guy, and it was yeah that one that was like it was settling in, but then I don't know why I don't know how I got so emotional. I guess because there was something I don't know. I got so emotional so quickly. I guess it was just like the relief, the like stress, like it was like all this stress and then the relief of that. And then thinking about the fact that like I took this huge, what felt like to me at least, like a huge risk and
It was.
it paid off. And then,
Yeah.
and really thinking about how much it, like even kind of, if I'm being fully honest, like even coming to the floor, like I was writing on a television show at the time. And so like to ask for that much time off felt like it felt like risky for my career because I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
Like now I had applied for this game show before I got this writing job, but I had this writing job and I like had to go to my bosses and be like, "Hey, is it okay if I take a week off from work so I can go play a game show in Ireland?" And they were nice about it, but I was still pretty stressed about it. When I was,
Yeah. It's
God,
very stressful.
what am I doing? And so that all of that was coming at a head, and just the relief, like
You
thinking
made the
about,
right choice. You
yeah, I
made the
made the
right
right choice,
choice.
and thinking about my wife
Yeah.
too, and like how like she was so supportive of me in this process, and then feeling like I was able to like provide for her, for us, just being able to win this money. All of that was, I was thinking about all that at that moment, and then I literally couldn't
Poured
even
out. It
speak.
just poured
Yeah.
out.
It was amazing. And then also, I think people in not just people on the floor, but people in the audience were cheering, which was like, then that made me cry even more because I was so moved by, I was like, oh, that's so sweet that people are sharing in this
Well,
joy with me.
it's
So yeah,
insane.
it was wild. And I'm so glad that I got to do that. Obviously a great episode.
Yeah. Yeah.
Episode 6 is going down as one of my favorite ones. I really enjoyed every part of it. Besides Luke, it sucked to
But you
watch
were
you lose. But
happy.
like I
You were
said,
happy to
Right.
see
yeah,
me go. It's fair. It's
Right.
fair.
I
Yeah.
It's fair,
was.
man.
I mean, I
I
hated
mean,
to see
the
it go,
same
but
way
Yeah.
when Kelsey beat Elizabeth, because I obviously didn't know Kelsey was coming for me, I was like, thank God we got rid of Elizabeth. She was a weapon. She was terrifying. And then when I beat Kelsey, I was like, well, besides my own self-preservation, I was like, Kelsey was a weapon. I'm glad she's gone. Now it's
Yeah.
like, you like these people, but also it's like you're a real threat. And when you recognize that in someone, it's like, nope, good riddance, goodbye. So
Right.
yeah, it's fair.
see
Well,
you at the bar afterwards.
now I am the threat, and we are going to talk to Elizabeth and Kelsey, but I just want to note I end this episode as the new whale. I have 43 pieces of the
Hmm.
floor. The end of episode 6. Okay, I already asked Luke this, so he knows the answer, but Sergio, I don't think you heard this. At the end of episode 6 in season 3, guess how many spaces Brian had?
Episode 6.
Episode
I
6.
remember he did go on a dry spell because he
Because he
won a
went,
couple in a row.
yeah,
I'm gonna
this is one, two,
say,
three, four. This was the 5th episode he won.
okay, so I'm gonna say it's gonna be low. It's gonna be 19.
My man, 12.
No,
Isn't
12
that insane?
spaces.
no,
That is
Dude,
lower
I
than
guessed
Ashley had in
15.
3.
Ashley had more spaces in episode 3 than
So
Brian did in episode 6. It's
it's
a
funny.
completely different game.
It's funny you say 19. At the end of episode 6 in season 2, Mac had 19 spaces. And at the end of episode 6 in season 1, Joey had 22 spaces. I have 43.
so more than double season 2 and 3. More than
I have more
double.
than
And
triple what Brian
yeah,
had.
and almost more than double the next closest, which is season 1.
In
I mean,
fact,
that doesn't even seem real, dude. And I'll say this again: season 4, the job production did with putting this cast together, and I'm gonna keep saying this because I don't care. It's gonna win us an Emmy, and this cast brought it, dude. I don't know if it's because there was a lot of Virgos and Libras or what the deal was, but this cast, full through 1 through 100, brought it. They brought entertainment. They brought this cast had it all, dude. It really did. And from beginning to end, this season is just blowing the others out of the water. And not to disrespect any other ones, but we are witnessing, and the category still had a lot to do with it, but we are witnessing things that we didn't even think possible in the previous 3 seasons. And so just hats off to everybody involved, the production, us in particular, the contestants. We absolutely killed this, man. We are putting together a season for the ages, and I'm gonna toot that horn for a long time. So
if we do say so ourselves, and we do. But
and we
yeah,
do.
there we go. Yet another winner of the episode. 6 episodes, 6 different winners. No repeat winners.
Do you feel like your time is you're on borrowed time right
It's
now?
imminent.
Of course. And I think like the reality was like at this
It's
point
20K, and that's what you're happy with.
yeah, nobody's won it again. And I want to try to put myself in a position to possibly win at least one more. But I knew the 250 at this point is probably gone. But you know what? I don't know. I'm not. I guess my mindset at the end of this episode was I won 20K. I'm really happy. I feel like I've accomplished exactly what I wanted to. I've pretty much done everything that I said that I wanted to do. And now I was like, hey, wouldn't it be fun to try to keep winning? And
You're
that's
playing with casino money,
so
man. You're
that's
playing with
what I'm
house
doing.
money.
I'm gonna do my best to do that. And I don't know. We'll
Yeah.
have to
And
see.
now, does knowing that no one literally before you has been able to accomplish what you're trying to accomplish, does that like deter you in any way, or does that motivate you to like, okay,
It
the only way
motivated
this
me.
is possible, yeah, like I got to do something big that the previous winners of the episodes couldn't do before me?
Well,
Is that
it's
like,
the reason why I chose combat films and didn't go back to the floor. I was like, you know what? Let me just play. Okay, I'll say this: like I was fortunate to be randomized at the near the end of an episode, so that I was in the same position as Luke, right? Where I was like, I play the whale, I win. There's one more duel left. But I was like, but I'm so big, the chances of me having to duel again are
Yeah.
almost
You
guaranteed.
didn't have the privilege I had of just go back.
Go back and maybe hide. And I was like, so if I'm going to play again and I have my own category, if I play one more, I win 20K. So I'm playing another duel to win 20K. And instead of playing in my category, let me play in the category I want to play. And that means the next episode, most likely, unless like in between these episodes, like my idea is I probably play one more so I can try to get either
we've interviewed
or
and said this in our interviews. There's no reason to go for 2 if you're not going for 3.
Right.
I think we all know that at this point. We've spoken on this.
So that's my
so I think your intentions are pretty clear, but you have to feel a little bit like history repeats.
But I mean, even with that, I'm just like, I know we're going to go into another episode where there's 8 or 9 more duels, and the chances of me surviving that feel very low, but I'm going to try. That's all I
gotta try. That's all I gotta
What else are you gonna do? Right?
What else am I gonna do? I'm gonna try.
Well, we'll have to now jump to someone who did exactly that. She had to try, and it didn't work out for her. But Elizabeth was in the exact same boat, won the episode previously, and she's got to do it. She has to try, and she did try, and it didn't work out. But we'll get to interview her here in just a second.
Yeah. All right, bringing her in. Let's do it.
All right, welcome back to the floor play. Me and Luke did a little costume change, and Sergio looks much better, just sharper than he did before, if you notice. But
yeah, buddy.
It's because we're not recording at night anymore, and we have an incredible guest with us. Queen Elizabeth is here.
Queen.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
We're so excited to have you. Absolute major player in this game, season 4. But just to get started, before we get into all of the strategy talk and the gameplay, would you like to just let us know how you got on the show? Like, were you a fan of the floor beforehand? And then how did you get your category?
Yeah, this is always a fun part. So my husband and I have been together, I don't know, I say 7 years or something like that now. And he's always lived in Durham, North Carolina, which is where I live now. It's not where I'm originally from. And at the time, I was living out kind of Western North Carolina when we met. But we started talking about Rob Lowe one night, and I was like, well, man, I love Rob Lowe. Like, I've loved that guy since I was a teenager and like St. Elmo's Fire and whatnot. And he's like, I love that guy too. So because one of Rob Lowe's sons, and I can never remember if it's the younger one or the older one, but one of his sons went to Duke. And so because my husband lives here in Durham and he runs all these fancy restaurants, he said when Rob Lowe would come to town a bunch of times, they had like him and his entourage and people, whatever, would come into the restaurant. So he waited on him and like served him and helped him. And he's like, yeah, he's a great guy. He's so unassuming and amazing and fabulous. And so we were just both fans. Sure. And I remember seeing the commercial for the floor and telling Neil, I'm like, oh my gosh, so there's a game show. We love game shows coming out. And it's got Rob Lowe as the host, like win. So we'd watched from season 1 and been like obsessed and fanned over it. And
amazing.
I'm sometimes embarrassed to admit this, but when we watch Survivor, we whiteboard it. So we have like all the teams set up and like the alliances, like, and then who has like which like things, and we bet
you're a
every
deep
episode.
Survivor.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous. Yes.
So you bet on
so there's a points game that we've developed, and it's. Yes. So if you could, it's not even a drinking game. It's just a straight up like strategy competition of who's gonna.
We have to ask: were you excited about? Did you know about when Johnny Fairplay was there and Jacob, or
I didn't know about Jacob? But the funny thing about Johnny Fairplay is like I got in. I think I was the first person off of my plane that morning, and so I was just waiting in the little muster area as other people were like filtering in, and I was reading a book, and all of a sudden I looked up. And I texted my husband and I was like, no lie, Johnny Fairplay is standing right across from me right now. And so because of that time difference, like he wasn't awake yet, but the first message I get back from him in response is ask him how his grandmother is.
Oh,
like,
yes.
Right. Because nobody does that to him. Right?
Yeah,
so
I know.
I definitely knew of Johnny Fairplay. And then talked to Jacob quite a bit once I got there. So it was really fun to be like, wow, Survivor people.
That's incredible.
So that was pretty awesome. Yeah.
That's awesome. So you do this long process, and then was Regency era a category that you had talked to them about at all, or?
No.
Okay. Wow. That's crazy.
But it wasn't like completely out of left field, right? So the ones I had pitched was 80s movies. And 80s, and I would have gone straight for Brat Pack, by the way, if I had any opportunity to play that one.
Absolutely.
I would have been like right up there. So it had been 80s movies, So I have 2 degrees in history, and we talked a little bit about that. But my degree is
Okay.
my master's degree anyway, is medieval studies, and they had already
Oh.
done the Middle Ages, which I was kind of like, when I
Oh,
saw that one,
that's a
I'm like, oh,
bummer.
that's my category right
Right.
there. And airport codes was the other one I had always wanted, and when I saw it, I
Yeah,
was
that
like,
was
dang it,
played.
I can't have
Mm,
that one either.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
that's
played.
a great category. That was a really
Right.
good one.
Yeah. So one of the
Yeah.
other things I did talk
So
about was that I love Victorian literature. So we talked
Okay,
about
there it is.
Victorian era. Right.
Got
And so
it.
that was one.
yeah.
And then Civil War was one of the other ones that we really talked up a lot. And I thought
Okay.
Oh,
that would have
American
been really
history.
fun. Right.
Yeah.
And I thought that would
That
have been super fun with War of the States. But then the more I thought about it, I was like, maybe
yeah.
not there. Maybe Civil War,
Maybe it's
War of the
actually
States
not
is
as
kind of
fun.
a.
Yeah. Maybe it's too real.
It's
Maybe it's
right.
Yeah.
So it's a
Yeah.
little too today, too, I
Yeah.
feel like, as far as what might come
Yeah.
next. But so I
Okay,
didn't
so
think Regency was that bad, and it's close enough. It's I guess if you think
sure.
about it, at least for England, and I guess that's the harder part too, is that America didn't really have a Regency era, right? That wasn't our thing
Not at
Right.
yet.
all. Yeah.
So for England, though, that was the era right before the Victorian era started. So
Got
it's
it.
not that it was dramatically different, and I think because of Bridgerton and Hamilton and some of those things that were more like time placed for the Regency era, it was a little bit more current event kind of
Right.
thing.
Well,
Downton Abbey was the other one I really wanted. So
it's so funny because Regency era is such a specific category that oh well, actually it's just to know because I don't I just always assumed that was the category that you had picked. And when you got there, there was all these conversations that were happening, and everybody had like a different kind of idea of what they should or shouldn't be doing. But I don't know if it was the same for you, but like truly like right when we got off the plane, like and people started congregating and realizing we were on the floor, immediately people started asking what's your category, and some people decided to say or didn't say. Some people were like, hey, did they give this to you? Did you pick it? People are already sussing that stuff out. When that was happening, did you have any idea of what you should say or shouldn't say, or what was your, I guess, strategy at that point?
right. Weirdly enough, and I definitely are going to get to my strategy at some point because I have
Sure.
a lot of things I need to say.
Okay.
But I didn't quite have I'm trying to fake people out with it. So I know that a
Right.
lot of people are like, oh, is that like Bridgerton? And I'm like, yeah, I guess so. But let's hope not because I only watched one season of that show. So if it's all Bridgerton, I'm going to be host just like you are.
Right.
So laughing. But I think that I thought it would be what it was just there's like items, objects, because
Items
they're
and
not going to get
objects.
hardcore into, I wouldn't think. And I think that's the joke. I'm trying to remember who said it. But
Politicians
when they were
or
talking
what
about
have
the
you.
Wild West, it was like, oh, every black and white picture of a white guy with a mustache looks the same. Like, how are you
Right.
going to figure out who those people are? And so I was like, it's not going to be all these English politician
No.
people that nobody knows who they are. Like, it's not going to be that hardcore of a category. So I felt like
Right.
it's going to be things that, like it was. I kind of thought it would be that. So I
Oh.
just
Were
was like,
you
yeah, I have
comfortable
a
with
degree in
that
history.
category, or were you comfortable with that category? It sounds like you were, because
Yeah, yeah, because I didn't think, like I said, that it would be too different from like Victorian era stuff. And my mother was actually like a huge Victorian era person, and we'd go to the tea rooms. And coming from Delaware, we went to Cape May, New Jersey all the time. It was like a notorious like Victorian kind of town, and
Hmm.
she was really into all that stuff. So
Got
yeah,
it.
like I said, I figured it wouldn't be so different from any of that.
Okay. Okay. Cool. So, in terms of like study habits, we got this list of 100. It seems like maybe you didn't even know that Regency era was going to be your category until they specifically told you,
Right.
right?
So I did, when I got the list of 100, I grouped it and had color coded everything. And there were some that I was just like, okay, this isn't even worth study. It's just general knowledge category. I'm just going to put that down here. There's like,
Sure.
okay, this is the color code of like, please, Lord, don't ever let me have to play these categories because I'll fail miserably and they're not even worth
It's
studying.
the same.
Right.
Yeah.
And then there's like that kind of middle stuff of like, okay, this is stuff I should study a little, and this is stuff I'd want to study a little bit more. And like, these are the categories I want to study because if I have a chance to do them, I really want to do them. But then I
Great.
also looked at it from like, what do I think my category is? So I
Mhm.
did think it would be either Brat Pack, American Revolution, Regency era, or stadiums.
Oh,
Because I also,
stadiums. Wait,
yes,
Okay.
really?
and I had really wanted him to be closer to me at some point to get stadiums. And I have a lot of
Ah,
hindsight now on all the things I should have done that I didn't do. But
Sure.
my friend and I, so I'm a huge baseball fan, and my
Mhm.
friend and I are on that quest of the bucket list, like get to every single baseball stadium. And so I've been to most of them.
Wow.
But also, I'm a huge sports fan. And so it's like, I know all the major
Okay.
stadiums. So,
Right.
you know.
Elizabeth, as terrifying as you were, we were all so happy to have you on the floor because you're the person that wanted to do all the hard categories. Like, she's the person that's going to sweep up all the stuff nobody else wants to play. Houseplants. She's going to offensive swap her Regency era and get rid of that for us. She's going to play stadiums. Everyone, that's why everyone loved you and everyone was bowing down to you. It's because not only were you so cool, calm, and collected, but you also you weren't taking out the stuff
I
everyone else wanted to
know.
play.
I
That's so
know.
funny.
Oh,
Um,
wild.
That's amazing. And I love that you were grouping them and figuring that stuff out. Okay. And so then we get to the first day. We got like the prompts. First of all, like the night before we get the category swap, we have the understanding that's going to happen. We get the prompts like right before we're going to bed or probably after some people went to bed. And then the
I don't think I
first day.
slept, but
Yeah, I know. It's so hard. And you get your position on the floor and like you wind up not having to duel the first day, which is great. I think a lot of us were excited about that. And so you get some time to study leading up to the episode that you played. Like, yeah, let's talk about it. What was your strategy? What was going through your mind like before episode 5, I would say.
right. So, and I feel like Luke's going to appreciate this more than anybody else in this group. I did it as hypotheticals because I went to law school, and that's how we do everything is hypotheticals. And so it was like, if I get randomized here, if I get randomized there, if I get challenged here. And so I had all these different like plans of strategy.
Yeah.
And for the longest, and it changes all the time, right? Every time somebody has to play or duel or something happens, you're like, okay, wait, now I have to rethink.
Constantly
so it's that
changing.
constantly, right, like moving and changing. So my initial plan that I was actually able to hold for a really long time was I was going to go straight forward to do, because I want to do anything food. I love the food category. So I wanted to go into the food pairings, and then it was ancient Greece and then deli, I think. So the idea was take those three, take a time boost, and just try to chill, right? Just try to chill
And
on
you
that
were on the
side,
edge,
right?
of
With
course,
Regency era, which was like everybody's like yuck, right?
Yeah,
Regency
era
would have gotten you. That would have gotten you to the finale. That would have gotten you to the finale. That's insane.
I think so. Regency era with a time boost. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah,
that's a one-way ticket to the final.
yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's a great strategy. Yeah.
Yeah. And ancient, and it's funny because you have majored in history and not necessarily ancient Greece, but obviously history, ancient Greece wasn't a scary category for you.
Right. No, it wasn't. And then also having been a few episodes in and had a little bit of time to study the things around me, that's what I've done. Is anything I thought like that was close to me that I didn't know very well, I was beefing up my knowledge on that.
So. Right.
Can we talk about that? Because it sounds like you were comfortable with damn near everything. So what was it that you were not comfortable? What were some categories that actually put a little fear into you, if that's even possible? Gosh.
I definitely paleontology. I was like, I don't even know. Like, are you gonna? Is it gonna be a Stegosaurus? Because I could do that one. But after that, I don't know. I'm gonna be a little lost. So that was really a lot of why I didn't choose to go backwards.
Right.
So Demetrius had fruit trees was fine. I had studied that one. Demetrius had inherited superfoods, and I was like, that's probably not that terrible. Summer camp, I feel like it would have been the competitor more than the topic that worried me, because I was like, I think he really knows summer camp very well. And then there's so it was like the going back into that corner, although strategic geography, that seemed like it's a better shot. Like I didn't like those categories as much as I like the ones going forward.
It is also weirdly by like at a certain point that back corner actually had a lot of land, because like they each like all those people dueled once and then sat, but so there were like, if you were getting up there, it was like, oh, there's actually a lot of pieces up here. Right. So it's not quite as like stuck over to the side.
Tucked away. Yeah.
Two or three duels can get you like 10
geometry.
pieces.
Like if geometry had been next to me, I might have just gone home. I might have like somebody just stick a fork in
Oh, funny.
Just,
okay.
The math. Remember the one they did the multiplication tables? I was like,
oh,
God,
yeah.
No.
See, this is why I love the floor as a game show so much, because you could have someone like, obviously you are extremely educated, like very, very intelligent. You have good study habits, like you had strategy, like all of this stuff. And yet like a category like math could be scary to you and not scary to somebody else who would never touch Regency era, who would never touch houseplants, who would never touch ancient Greece. You know what I mean? So the parity of categories, I think, is one of the things that makes this show so fun. So let's get into episode 5. Let's get into like, when in your mind did you know, like, okay, so the end of episode 4, when Aaron does this insane run, literally a historic record-breaking run, and winds up combining his huge pieces that he accumulates with Ashley's already big whale. And so we have like this an incredible space on the floor, which changed the game. going into episode 5, because that was a new day. So, right, we actually had a little bit of time to like think about stuff. Were you thinking at that point, like, if I get an opportunity to go for this whale, maybe I will?
It was definitely one of the strategies. And so, like I say,
Mhm.
if you think about it, and I think this is typically what happens, right? So when Ashton got randomized pretty quick, she's just like, all right, I'm going to go for this Lisa Frank thing and call it
And yeah,
quits because
call it
it's way
quits.
too early in this episode to try
Yeah.
to make a move. And so that's always the thing. It's like if you're going to get randomized and you want to make a move, you have to be at the right place in the episode to make that move. So
Yeah,
if
unless you're Aaron.
Right, exactly.
He just
Had I
goes,
been
nah, I don't care
randomized,
where I
like,
am.
when Arlene was,
Yeah,
I would have
yeah.
done exactly what Arlene did, right? Just do
Sure.
the one and go back because you're way too early in the episode to try to. Maybe, like I say, for me, I would have tried to at least do 3 and get a time boost or something like that, but
Right.
I wouldn't have gone for the whale. So,
Right.
Got it. But once you do get randomized, like talk us through your this process. You go for houseplants first, which everyone around you on the TV seemed to be shocked about. Everybody thought for sure you were going for, I believe, fruit trees, but you went on houseplants, and we talked about it with Arlene. The 3 of us were like, oh, it felt like Arlene knew her houseplants, and she did, by the way. She really did.
Oh, she did.
Yeah, she did.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And like houseplants is a hard category. It's like it felt crazy to take that on, but you did. What was your thought process?
I have a lot of plants. I've had plants in the past, and so I was like, I'm not terrified of plants.
Yeah,
But
you're
also,
not scared of
when
it.
I've heard it was herbs, and like my husband runs restaurants, like we cook all the time. We've had herb gardens, like so I was like, okay. Although I miss chives, kick myself over that one.
Elizabeth,
Yeah.
nobody's kicking. Everybody's like, yeah, sure.
Yeah,
what?
yeah.
Grass?
Yeah.
What? I don't know what
can-
I'm looking at.
You can
was like,
wipe
"Does,
those
of
tears
course."
with that 20K.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's that too, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I
exactly.
felt pretty good about that one. I had studied it enough to be like, oh yeah, okay. So like, and again,
Wow.
for the common things that you figure like common house plants, right? Like as long as you're not digging into this weird, like obscure, crazy plant, like I was like, okay, I feel like I could do okay there. So
I love that you say that, because some of those quote unquote common houseplants I was looking at and being like, I don't know what that is. I've never.
Flower.
House plants
What?
for me was one. It went into my category of don't study. You'll never get it. Like
Yeah.
I don't know
Yeah,
plants.
you won't win.
It was so intimidating. But the 3 of us, Elizabeth, when you challenged Arlene, we were all elated. We were like, houseplants is gonna be gone. It's
Yeah,
back
we
to
were
that
like
thing
either
of, like,
houseplants
yeah,
or a person who doesn't know Regency era is going to
no
take it.
reason
We're fine.
exactly. It was like there wasn't really a bad scenario in that duel, which was so fun to watch.
yeah.
And real quick, let me pull a John and just take us back just a tiny bit.
Oh yeah.
Elizabeth, when I assume you had a ton of strategies just readily available to you, just from you saying you color coded categories, that's all I need to know. But the category steal, watching Aaron utilize it the way he did that give you any ideas, or did you already have like preconceived notions of like, all right, I can utilize this
Right.
offensively?
I actually
Before he did it.
didn't. And here's the interesting
Okay.
thing is you went backwards on it, but I feel like we're going to end up going forwards a little bit with that because the category steal had never been something I thought like, oh, I want that, because I thought my category was so ridiculous and nobody was
Right.
interested in trying to play it, that it was this like, well, why would I ever want anything other than this category? So for the longest time to me, it's like, no, the time boost was really the only thing I thought would be what I would want, because time boost and Regency era for people that are like, I don't know what the heck that is. It just seemed like a little more intimidation factor than swapping with some other category.
Totally.
So we'll get back to that. Let's get back to what happened, I think, with that after we go through.
So then
Okay.
you win in houseplants. It's an epic duel. Truly, it was incredible. You both were getting things that I think the vast majority of people would never have gotten. You wind up winning, and then you decide to stay and play. So I'm assuming at this point you had in your mind like, okay, if I'm going to stay, because the way you went forward, instead of doing your plan, obviously food pairings was done, but ancient Greece was still there. Delhi's still there, right? You could have tried to go in for a time boost and sat, but instead you go to, what was the next? Famous Criminals, right?
Famous Criminals are great outdoors. I can't remember which order.
I think
they went in.
Famous Criminals
was
Criminals,
next.
okay.
It was
Okay.
next. So at this point, were you already thinking in your mind, I think I might have to make a play for this 20K? It's right here. I have the number.
Right. I really started to think about it. And I think that was the thing. I wanted the option more than anything, which is why I took that path. Because it's like, if I decide to do 3 and just get the time boost and stay here, at least I'm still in the corner.
Right.
And if I decide to go for the 20, it's also right there and I could do it. So that was kind of
Like you
So
hadn't
smart.
committed yet, but you wanted
Right.
the option just in case.
yes.
So
I
smart.
love that.
My
Yes.
gosh. Yeah.
Okay, and so take on famous criminals. This was a fun duel. I think you both like passed it a couple times. It was definitely hard. Like I think a lot of people had different theories about what this category was going to be, and it wound up
A
being
lot of us thought celeb mugshots. It was like
right.
these will be celebrity mugshots. That it said famous people who got arrested. That really lends itself to, oh, I'm gonna see Frank Sinatra's mugshot, right? Like that's what it felt
Right.
like.
Yeah, I
And
think that's why
So
everybody laughed when I
what
said
were you
Lindsay Lohan.
studying?
what were you?
Fair.
Which I knew it wasn't her, but I was like, I don't know who that is. Lindsay Lohan. I don't know, whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Which, ironically enough, had they put Julia Garner up there as Anna Delvey, I would have known who it was because I had never seen a picture of Anna
same.
Delvey, but I watched the Netflix thing, so
Same.
I knew who she was, but only
100%.
as Julia Garner.
Correct.
So originally I had studied like what you would think, like famous criminals, like the Ted Bundys and the Al Capone and all that kind of stuff. But
Yeah.
then when I really read that prompt, I started to think what you said, Luke. It's like, oh, I bet this is more like, because this is more pop culture fun show. And if we're trying to not glamorize horrible people, then wouldn't it be more of a fun category if it was like famous people that got arrested but weren't like
Right.
serial killers or whatever, like weren't bad
I had the exact same thought. I was
So
like,
then
this
I
is a Fox
rethought,
family
yeah.
show.
and started going through like all the movie stars and like musicians and football players and all those people that had been arrested. And so had done that switch there towards the end, but it was still a tough category.
Yeah, they wound up doing way more of the actual famous serial killers than the other. But I think they probably they threw Martha Stewart, and they probably would have, maybe one or two other might have been in there. O.J. Simpson is that weird in between where he's both like a famous person and did a horrible thing.
In regards to the duel, yeah, Elizabeth, were you coming after famous criminals because you liked the category, or was it more Leah that you were going after? Because we've heard like from Sabelle and a couple other people that you were doing a little talking.
Right. And so that's what I feel like I want to make sure we clarify.
Oh, sure.
Because the study table that I had was Arlene and Sabelle, and like I feel like Lee wasn't that far away from us, and I knew that Sabelle and Arlene and Zach and Kelsey and everything were all friends. Like I had stopped and talked to them on a bunch of different occasions.
Yes.
So at least for Arlene and Sabelle, for sure, they just had the bad luck of geography and nothing else. Like there was like zero targeting. I was targeting their categories, not them as individuals ever. So I just and they said something about their alliance, and I even joked. I was like, okay, well, I didn't know you had an alliance. You know why? Because you didn't invite me into it. That's why.
Got him.
But no, it was nothing personal ever. But it has been comical because I was actually listening to the interview you had with Sabelle on the way to walk up here, and she even says the thing I said to her about great outdoors, and it's just funny. Like I at no time was like, I'm saying that to her so that I can attack her later today by telling her. Like I legitimately meant it. I was like, don't overthink it. It's going to be very common stuff, and you're going to do great. And she did.
And
I
also
had no
like
idea you were going to be randomized.
Exactly.
Right.
And also randomized in the perfect position to do what you wind up doing. Okay, so that makes sense. But then you take on. So when did it happen? You take on Lee. You win. She misses some that I know. Like later on, she said like she's beat herself up on. Like obviously,
It's hard.
Yeah, but it's hard when you're up there and you're trying to think of it. You're trying to think of it in the moment, and it's not coming to you, and it just freezes in your brain. And so you win that duel.
Let's talk about one point of controversy in that duel. That prompt said famous people who have been arrested, and you got Bonnie and Clyde.
Oh, were they never arrested?
They were killed by the police.
Yeah.
Wait, Luke.
Fox.
You are the nerdiest. There is no. I love that you said a bit of controversy, like anybody else in the world is talking about. Not a single person has even thought about this.
I didn't even thought about it. I knew who they were, so.
Isn't that frustrating? All of the math.
That's amazing. No, good. No, I love you so much that you just said that. That is that is true.
It's frustratingly lovable.
Isn't that frustrating? It's like that. No, dude, Bonnie and Clyde are not arrested.
They killed themselves.
I've been upset with some of the other things that I've seen on the floor. So I remember the one, and my husband and I still fight about this, was the Marvel, when they did the Marvel match. But they did say, and I get it. There was like either the name of the character or I guess their superhero or whatever. But there's like the picture of Ruffalo, Mark Ruffalo up there, and the guy says whatever, like the Hulk. And I'm like,
Bruce
okay, but he's
Banner.
obviously
Oh.
not the Hulk right
The
now. He's
Hulk.
And that's
Bruce
a
That is
Banner
great.
right
Bruce
That's
now.
Banner.
so true.
So,
That is so true.
And for the real comic nerds, you know that the Hulk is a completely different personality than
yes,
Bruce Banner.
yes, that's
They
why,
have to,
yes.
because that's not putting on a mask. You are becoming something else, and that's. You are so right. Gosh,
Well, we
I
said
knew I
this.
liked
We
you.
said this. The other nerdy thing we said, Elizabeth, was with fictional creatures. They were like, you have to name the type of thing, not the like, not
Not
the
Shrek.
you
Yeah,
know,
you
not
Say
Shrek.
ogre, not
But then
Shrek.
they showed a Marshmallow Man, and he said Marshmallow Man, and it was like, that's not he's a ghost. Like,
Oh,
what?
it's a ghost.
Exactly.
It is a
Anyway.
ghost.
Exactly.
Anyway,
Yeah.
anyway,
Yeah,
Yeah.
because Stay Puft Marshmallow Man was his name.
yeah,
not
that's
like
his.
Yeah,
That's his
yeah,
specific
exactly.
name.
That's the proper noun.
So after you win, when did you make this? Was it like Rob was egging you on a little bit?
Oh, yes, yes. I mean,
Did that
if I'm
influence you?
blaming anybody, I'm going to blame Rob Lowe because
He was like,
you were kind
well,
of standing
Rob.
up there. I feel like Arlene said this too, or
Yeah.
no, I can't remember now. But you just feel like he obviously wants you to play. He wants you to do something.
Right.
And when he
Ashley,
said
I
that
think
whole
maybe even-
thing.
yeah.
Ashley, yes.
Yeah.
Well, Arlene
You just don't
said, I
want
don't
to
want to
let him
disappoint
down.
you.
Right.
Yeah,
So
Arlene
he's
said,
like,
I don't
did
want to
you want to
disappoint Rob,
do the category swap like Aaron did? And I was like, do I? And legitimately,
There's
I told everybody, I was
20,000 reasons to do it.
right. When I was up there going like the 100 things going through my mind at that point were, yes, I could probably do this, right? I could do this category swap, guarantee that I'm playing my category and win $20,000. But if I do that, that's the end of me.
You're
Like,
you're
there's no
letting
250.
you're letting go of 250.
Right.
Yeah.
And
I
that's
want
a
to talk
hard
about
decision.
this.
Yeah.
And so you made that decision. You're like, you know what,
Mhm.
20K sounds really fun because of how I can do it, and let's do it.
Well,
huh?
and-
I was like, I feel like I could make great TV. It'll be fun, and I'll get
Absolutely.
20,000.
I mean,
It was
And I
great
thought,
TV.
it's not everybody wins money, right? Most people don't. So it's kind of like, hey, if I
Most
feel like
people don't.
it wasn't guaranteed that I was going to win the 20, but I felt pretty good about it. So I just
Sure.
thought, like, let me just get 20 and go home.
well,
So,
I think you're right. It technically wasn't guaranteed to win the 20, but if I can bring in a sports reference in here, it's like being on the 20-yard line and being like, well, if I kick this field goal, like I'll win the game. It's
Yeah,
like,
I don't need to go for the touchdown. Yeah.
pretty sure
Yeah.
like most people are like, yeah, you're probably gonna kick this field goal and win this game.
Yeah.
So it was epic. The producers couldn't have dreamt up a better ending to this episode. Are you kidding me? Like, you do the exact thing that Aaron just did to his friend Ashley in the last episode. They call it karma. Somebody on the floor says it's the title of the
Yeah,
episode.
Christina's like, karma!
yeah.
Karma! She's so excited.
And you win pretty easily. Aaron's clearly rattled. We've talked to him about it. He was like in all of his other duels, we were talking about how quickly he was passing and this duel, all of that went out the window. He was just like,
Yeah.
he got tripped up. He didn't say croquet, which he knew. Like, it was all this stuff. So, by the way, did you know some of those harder, just for those sticklers at home who are like, he got all the hard
Yes.
ones, but
I
you would
do
have
know
known
what a reticule is. Yes.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank
yeah,
you so
that's
much.
crazy.
I
I've
like,
read enough Jane Austen to know.
right. I was like,
oh my
Yeah.
god.
I was like, Elizabeth, the problem with people at home being like, he got the hard ones and that's why he won. It's like, no, it was hard for him
No.
because he didn't know the category.
Exactly. There are certain times where you can critique that when it's like both people are down to 3 seconds.
Sure.
But there was no shot that Aaron was going to beat you in this. Like,
No.
people at home, if they think there was, because he had such an amazing run the episode before, they were not paying attention to what Aaron was doing. Aaron
Right.
was playing speed categories and he was fast. You played him in something he did not know. No, I'm not trying to discredit him, but he just didn't know it, and he won't fight us on
Yeah,
that. He knows
nullified
he
his
didn't.
speed.
Completely nullified the speed. Exactly. All right. So incredible. You win 20K. You have an epic moment. All right, now we're going into the next episode, and the reality is you don't have any time to prep for this next episode. You have to go sign
hot
your
room.
paperwork. You have to go do your confessionals. You have to go eat lunch in 2 minutes.
Yes. all that.
So what was your getting back on stage, like about to start episode 6? Was there anything going through your mind where you like, what, if any, strategy did you have going into this, knowing that you didn't have much time to prep?
Right. So my thing is, I remember even Michael, the one producer, he was just like, "Do you know Harry Potter?" I'm like, "Yeah, I know Harry Potter, but I don't know Harry Potter like Harry Potter people know Harry Potter. Like,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
afraid of the
Yeah.
Harry Potter people."
Exactly.
And so,
The potheads.
Yes, I was like, well, yes. And so I was like, so I felt okay. And my thought, like I say, is that I knew I wouldn't make it out of that episode for all intents and purposes. Like this, I was like, this is my last episode. So I'm going into it with a like, well, whatever. This is going to be the end. So let me just try to have a good time. So my thing is, I'm going to stay on the floor because if it follows the pattern, right, people are going to get randomized, but they're going to wait till like mid to end of episode before they come at me. So I was like, at least I can kind of enjoy a few duels and just chill and maybe look at some of the categories and think like, if I had to do one, what would I pick? And I didn't get any of that time. So
Right.
No, it's because Mark decided to be an agent of chaos and play a category he clearly didn't know so early on to grab the whale. It was the silliest thing I've seen.
as
I
soon
just,
as he went table
I
scapes,
was
I was like,
so
oh, here he
shocked,
comes.
and I was extra shocked at the end of the Harry Potter duel to be like, that's what he decided to do. Are you kidding? It was
I am
crazy
sad
to
for
me.
America more than anything because I feel like Harry Potter was the duel people wanted, right?
And-
It's the
and-
one they're
Wanted to
waiting
see.
for.
They
It's
were
like the
getting
two
edged.
Potterheads like against each
Yeah,
other.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
and
There were-
I was
yeah.
I was very frustrated. I was very frustrated. There was really no shot that I was even going to get to play because at that point I've already been randomized. It's not going to happen
Yeah,
again.
you had zero
But I
chance.
wanted to see someone like Nicole who had biology. That woman knows Harry Potter. I was like, let's see a Harry Potter duel. That's what I wanted, and we saw. I can't even.
Yeah,
I can't
I
even.
know. Once he passed on like Sirius Black, everyone was like, "Oh man."
I
come
know
on,
it was too
man."
bad. And Mark
Yeah.
is a
I
nice enough
literally
guy, so I don't want to like
Sergio.
completely diss him. But see, I didn't know because sometimes when the other person passes and then they see the thing and they'll say what it was, so you
Right.
know what they passed on. So like
Right.
when Sibel said
Yeah.
charcoal chimney, and this is really funny because I know there's a lot of controversy about the charcoal chimney too. I was like, in my head when she said that, I was like, what is that? Like one of those little chimeneas? What did she get a picture of? Because I've
Yeah.
always thought of that thing as a charcoal starter. I was like, I wonder if they would have taken
Yep.
charcoal starter.
They probably
That's
would have
like not
taken a
chimney,
charcoal
but
starter.
starter.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
maybe,
So-
maybe,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so I didn't
But
know
which
because he
one?
didn't
Yeah, what
say it,
happened on
that
Harry
he
Potter?
had passed on Sirius Black. So I didn't know that's who he'd passed on that first time.
Got it.
And they tell you there's like that side screen.
Neville.
They're like, don't look at the side screen or whatever, right?
Sure.
So when he had stopped and he passed that time, it was like out of the corner of my eye, I was like, that is absolutely Bellatrix Lestrange right now.
Oh my
so
god.
I knew that he
Yeah.
had passed her, and
Yeah.
that was the moment I was like, oh, he's cooked. Like,
Oh,
I don't know
he's
what he's passed on
cooked.
now, but if he didn't have that
Yeah.
one.
Bellatrix. Yeah, he passed
Yeah.
on he passed on Neville Longbottom, Bellatrix.
Sirius
Yeah,
Black.
Sirius
I mean,
Black.
that was.
One of my buddies who loves Harry Potter was like, I don't understand a world where you
Oh, and
recognize
Seamus.
Luna and not Neville.
It was.
Like,
that was
she's like,
surprising.
she's
yeah,
like,
he
they're
knew Luna
so-
Lovegood.
They're so
Yeah.
yeah,
And it's like,
exactly.
but Neville's a
they're so
little bit more pop.
connected.
Like he's more in it.
Neville's in more of the movies. He's in more of the books.
He's from
you
it
know?
in the beginning. Luna doesn't come in until
Yeah,
yeah, that was
exactly.
funny.
Neville wins them the cup at the end of the first book.
Yeah.
It's like it's only
My
because of
favorite Neville
Neville's
scene is when he's
bravery
like
that.
on the bridge when everybody's coming at him and he's like,
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh
so
yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
so cool.
he's like moment of
Uh,
heroism.
So
Yeah,
you
Neville rules.
win this very easily, and you have a very hard decision to make because that was only the third duel, right? Or not? Or was it even the? Was it the
Yeah, it
third?
was the
That was the second. That was the
Was it
second duel.
Because
Tablescapes to Harry Potter.
Tablescapes the Harry Potter. So it's only the second
Yeah.
duel. There's still 6 more duels in this night. You're sitting in the middle with the largest space
Junk food.
imaginable. We've talked about this. Like it dwarfs any other whale at this up
Touches
until this point.
everything. Yeah.
It's basically touching almost everything. And you have junk food, which is, I'm sure, not a scary category for you to defend, but for sure also a category people aren't
Yes.
also aren't scared of. And
Right.
so you decide to keep going. What was in your mind when this happened?
It was the absolute of if I say I'm going back to the floor, like 2 things are going to happen. One, I'm going to let Rob low down again. So I don't want to let Rob down ever.
Sure.
So I was like, can't say that. I was like, but then I'm coming right back up here. So
Yeah.
And sure, like I wasn't terrified of junk food, but at the same time, I was like, well, maybe I could just play a category I think would be fun and exciting, and I want to play. And Kelsey and I, it's funny because she and I talked about it afterwards too. And I was like, Rob had said something about, oh, there's holiday foods, and he mentioned a few other things. I think he mentioned American Revolution, which really was the one I should have gone for, or I should have gone back to where I'd already been
That's
before
right,
because I
you were
forgot that I
next
was
to
still
it.
touching like fruit trees and sports cars and all these other things I felt okay with.
Right.
But she was like right there in the middle. There was nothing in front of her
So
with
you
her
could see
green
her.
on, right? And she's smiling. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh, if I'm going to lose, I might as well give this thing to Kelsey if nobody else. So come
Get
on,
at it.
Kelsey,
Well,
let's do it.
speaking of, yeah, you decide you're looking at her. That's really funny. Okay, here we go.
And there she is.
And there she is.
And
Speak of the devil, and she shall appear.
Hey, Kelsey. You're here.
All
You're
right,
here. You're
boom.
with us.
She's there.
Okay.
Can you see Elizabeth? Elizabeth's here. We just got to her choosing you.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah,
Awesome. Awesome.
retelling the story of your beautiful face right there in the middle of the floor, and maybe still like, okay, Kelsey.
Literally, yeah. Yep. One of those, like, literally, and that's what I tell her. And I'm like, you know what? If I was in her position, I probably would have chosen me too, because there was nothing in front of me. You just look out and you're like, wow, I can read holiday foods. There you are. Like, here it is. Yeah, totally
Right.
get it.
Elizabeth, was this a category you had studied at all, or was this just kind of one of those like, well, I know holiday foods?
Yeah, I hadn't studied holiday foods. I had
Yeah.
put all the food categories into I'm not going to study that stuff.
Right.
Because they say my husband runs restaurants and we're food people and we
Right.
watch Top Chef and Bake Off and like you name
Yeah.
it. If there's food or restaurants involved, like we're watching that show. So, and like I say, because he's a foodie guy, like we eat at different places with different menus. And so it's just one of these, I'm like, all right, holiday food, fine. That's fine. I could probably be okay with that.
Yeah.
So,
Well, guys, you two had truly one of the most epic duels that has ever been on this show. It was
Absolute knife fight. It was crazy.
absolutely and like, let's be clear. I think after food holidays got played, people were like, this is so
Mhm.
easy. Oh, please. Right. And so I think a lot of people on the floor and maybe even people at home were looking at holiday foods and being like, this is an easy category. This is just a speed category. Everybody's going to know it's going to be back and forth. Low key, this was a hard category, especially like in the realm of the food categories there's a lot of very specific foods here that are not like, if you don't know them, like you're not going to know them. It's not spaghetti and meatballs, right?
And if your world experience, your life experience points you in one direction, say you're Jewish and you recognize more of the Jewish
Right.
foods, maybe you're not going to recognize Russian tea cakes. So it's like there were so many different cultures on screen
Yes.
that it's like you have to be an insanely well-rounded foodie to know all of this stuff. And you both had passes, understandably so, because it's really hard. It was really hard.
Yeah.
I think the thing that made me mad is that my husband's family is half Italian, and so I was like, I feel like Aunt Mary Lou sends pizzelles every Christmas, and I feel like this year we're probably going to get like 6 times more, and it's going to be like, screw you, you didn't even know pizzelles when you saw them.
Yep.
But
Oh heavens!
That's happening. That is happening.
that was one of those. The word just didn't come. It just didn't come.
Yeah.
That happens. That absolutely happens.
Hey, before we let you go, I did want to just real quick give you your flowers. I like to give the contestants their flowers before we let them go. What you did up there was absolutely incredible to watch.
Thank you.
First of all, taking down Aaron, right? He's the Goliath. He became this whale that was just, my goodness, we've never seen it. The courage to go up there and change your strategy mid-play. That's finding that out now that's impressive, right? First and foremost. But then executing your plan to perfection, incredible to watch. It was poetic justice. I said that like 40 times for production. I don't know why they didn't use it. But watching that was not only great television, but God, the tenacity, right? To just go out there and do that. And then the following episode, right? How you go back, you come back up, you defend, and then refuse to go back to the floor. That to me is a testament to like the psycho competitor that you were, right? Where you're like, you know what? I'm here to play. And seeing that really, in my opinion, changed the landscape and the dynamic of the show moving forward. Everybody saw that as what? We're here to play. We're not here to just stand idle and let things happen. If you want any kind of accomplishments, you're gonna have to work for it. You're gonna have to put your balls on the table and go after it, right? And you did that, and that's something something I really wanted to convey to you, that it was impressive to watch. I'm glad you did what you did, and I honestly hope people on the floor take after you, because that was just incredible to watch. And so thank you for providing incredible drama and just amazing television.
Thank you. Well, I felt like my successor queen took it very well because she kept going too. So
Yeah.
Kelsey went for it as well. So
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, you played 6 duels, you won 5 of them, and the duel that you lost, you only lost by 3 seconds. So
by a stinking apple turnover.
Well, thank you so much for being on the show. It was incredible to hear all of your strategy and to watch you play.
Thank you. Well,
Yeah,
thanks for having me. It was wonderful to be here. So it's
yeah,
great to
Yeah,
talk to you all again. I'm excited watching to
you
like
rule,
going
Elizabeth.
forward now too because now it's going to be
yeah,
so much fun to see it unfold
Me
since I have
too.
yeah.
no idea what's going to happen.
I
But
love it.
and
Yep.
congrats to you too, Jonathan, with
Thank
your
you,
Same.
win.
thank you.
So
Appreciate
yeah.
it. All right,
Okay.
all right. We'll see you in a bit.
All right.
Thanks,
Bye.
Elizabeth.
That was it.
All right, and
And now
Kelsey.
we come to the machine gun.
Okay, I have to say that is probably my favorite comment ever. Luke, like that is like the biggest compliment that I think I could have gotten.
Machine gun.
I love
It's
it.
because I literally, like, in my mind, I was like, she's so calm after a pass and still so fast. I'm like, she's reloading. Like, she's not, the
I
gun is not
mean,
jammed. She when
come
you
on.
when you took Elizabeth down that way, and then Monopoly was hard.
Oh,
Monopoly was so much harder. But
Yeah,
let's talk about
we're gonna.
more about the holiday foods first, and then also just you in general. But yeah, Jonathan's gonna ask you. Tell us how you got on the show. Tell us about the start of your journey. You know,
Yeah.
How you got that
tell
category?
I was actually my kids and I are like game show addicts.
Love
I
it.
don't watch TV really without my kids. So everything we watch is family friendly.
okay.
And so we had stumbled upon the floor and saw it a
Also,
little
real
bit
quick,
and we
let
would
it
play
be
against
known.
each other and thought it was
Let
really
it be
fun.
known. Kelsey has been on a game show before.
Okay,
Wait,
it was Wheel of Fortune. It was Wheel of Fortune.
that's a
And you
game
won
show.
money.
I did win money.
What?
Yes. Yeah. Oh well, I mean everybody wins money on Wheel of Fortune,
Is that
but
true?
I tell people I had like the whole experience on Wheel of Fortune. Like I did everything. Like I spun the wheel, I took something off the wheel, I hit a bankrupt, I solved a puzzle, I called the
Fun.
letter that was already on the board. Literally anything that you can do, I did it.
Right.
So yeah. But I took that experience of all of the lights and the sound and the drama and whatnot. And I definitely, when I walked out on the floor, was I awestruck? Yes. But did I also go, I've been here before, so I knew how to maybe manage my own personal nerves
Mm,
a little bit better? Yes.
that's that
that
mental
Granted,
was
fortitude.
multiple.
that was like almost 10
Yep.
years ago, so that was a different lifetime ago.
Fixed with
But
you. That's fixed with
but
you.
yeah, but I was able to at least regulate myself a little bit more. But I was watching the floor with my kids because we watch things together. Like we're a game show
Yeah.
family, we're a board game family. Like we do board game tournaments during the summer. Like we try to
Incredible.
like play every single board game in our house and we keep track of who wins and then see who's like the ultimate board game master for the
You're my
summer.
people. You're my people.
So
Yeah, I was going to say that sounds dope.
so my kids, like, it was over like Christmas. I think it was right at the end of season 2. And my kids went outside, I think, to go build a snowman. And I was like, God, I have 5 minutes of silence. It doesn't happen in a house of 4 kids very
Sure.
often.
Right.
Yeah, Serge knows what I'm talking about. And I had 5 minutes of silence and I went, this show's pretty cool. I wonder if they're casting. So I looked it up online super quick and made a really quick video before they popped back in the house screaming for mom. And
That's so cool.
yeah, and then it was like a week and a half later, I had my first little reach
Oh,
out, and
wow.
the rest is history.
Dope.
That's
Dope.
so awesome.
Yeah.
Amazing. So, holiday foods, how did that come up? Was that anything you
That's
talked
a great
about?
question.
Yeah.
You should ask the producers how that happened. Like
Because you
Could
have no
I
idea.
Luke and
that,
Serge, at this point, we have interviewed more people who did not pick their own category than did,
Correct.
right? It is
100%.
Correct.
I
Yeah.
do think that this season way more people got the category picked for them. And some of them made sense. Everybody's talked about whatever, but was there anything in your interview process where you were talking about foods or
yeah, okay. So I think I narrowed it down because they had us send in some pictures of us with our family and life and just doing whatever. And so I tried to find a recent picture with me and each of my kids. So it was probably like me and a close up of my little 3-year-old. And then it was like me at a basketball game with my oldest, right? Well, one of the most recent pictures that I had of my middleman, Calix, was him in his elf apron
Mhm.
and me in my Mrs. Claus apron as we are making lefse because we do that to prep for Christmas every year because my mom brings it down. My sister comes in and like we do like a whole family workstation. And then we make kroonkakas and rosettes and all of the Norwegian delicacies, which there were not enough of in my duel that I was ready for.
I was just saying, I don't know any of these.
Yeah, I was nodding along. I was nodding along, but I had no idea what you were talking about.
Okay, guys,
what is
send
happening?
me your addresses. I'm gonna send you some lefse. I'm making some next weekend.
Great.
So like,
Okay.
send me your address. I'll send some lefse to you. But so that's the only thing I can think of, honestly,
Okay.
truly, is that they saw that one picture, and off of that, they're like, "Hey,
Holiday
this would be
foods.
great." So one of the categories I did pitch, since it was around Christmas time, was Christmas music. So maybe they took, and I was hoping for an audio battle on that they would play it and then you would have to name the song. But
That would have been so fun.
yeah, I thought so too.
Fun. So when you got the list of 100 and you saw Christmas, did you think it was you?
So I thought Christmas could be mine just because I kept on bringing up sports. I thought Hall of Famers possibly could be mine. I had also pitched Disney heroines. So when I saw Disney animation,
sure.
I thought that one was close. And then I knew I had sent them a picture of all of the different board games. And so I'm like, maybe they really put things together and they gave me Monopoly. So when I saw Monopoly on there, I'm like, possibility. And so then when I got my category the next day, I literally took a picture of it, sent it to my husband, and went, what the heck is this? Like I was like totally thrown for a loop. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So you get a category, like you had no idea that you were going to get this. You get this random category that also is like, okay, holiday foods. You're getting into Ireland. Do you have social strategy at this point, by the way? Were you telling people like, I didn't pick this category. I don't know what the heck. I don't know why I got this. Were you saying that, or were you trying to keep everything on the down low?
It evolved. Let's just say that it evolved. My bus crew, we all got there super early in the morning. So I think we were all quiet anyway. Nobody was kind of revealing their category. I was with Terms of Endearment, Frank. I was with Nicole, who had biology, and I was with Aaron with Simpsons. And everyone was like, we were talking about everything. My fun fact from that was that Nicole and I found out that our girls are literally born on the exact same day, exact same year. And I was like, super cool. But nobody said their categories. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess if no one's saying their categories, then okay, it is what it is.
Yeah.
And then
the dollar was cutthroat.
Yeah. So then I was just like, okay, well, cool. Like, we'll just see. And if people ask, maybe I'll say something. Maybe I'll deflect. I actually tried to deflect questions and then ask them more about themselves and how they got to it. And I wanted to just know more about them personally because then I didn't want somebody to ask me my question because I didn't want to lie to people. I just didn't want to not say anything to them.
Right.
You just wanted it to, don't ask, don't tell.
Yeah. Like, so it's legit like the English teacher thing. Like I 100% am an English teacher. I've been doing it for years and years and years. I just omitted the math part because I wanted to steal geometry.
Right.
We didn't. It's funny. One of the first conversations we ever had, Kelsey, it was before we filmed, before we knew where we were going to be standing, or right when we knew we were going to be standing. And we had this seminar with the floor production where they're showing us like how to play the game. Here are some examples of it. And
let me just say, I think you're totally full of it. You are totally full of it. You were playing.
Well, yes, I was.
Yeah.
I was. But they show a picture of like, you're supposed to answer this question, right? And they show a picture of quiche, right? And so everybody's like, okay, together, everybody, we all know this is quiche. And I'm sitting next to Kelsey, and I'm like, Kelsey, I thought that was deep dish pizza. Like, how am I gonna know like this category? And so I wanted her to feel like I would never come after her, right?
So here's my fun fact strategy wise. I even before that, because I totally knew you were lying. I said there is zero way that he thought that was a deep dish pizza. Like, this man is off his rocker. But we were sitting in the lobby and you were telling everybody that your wife is VP of Mattel and that you have and you're showing everybody your collection. So your collection's legit. Like,
yes, it is.
And then the thing about your games, I go back to my room and I tell my husband, there is one person I don't want to stand next to. I said, I can stand next to 98 other people, but there is one person I don't want to stand next to, and it is Serge. I said, he is playing the game so hard. I said, I don't want to be by him. He's playing way too hard. And then when I saw it, like, my heart just dropped. And I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? I'm next to Serge. Like, I lost it. lost it because I'm like, one person. Like, you can throw me by the most intimidating players ever, and I would have been like, sure, fine, whatever. Like, I'll figure it out. But next to Serge, I was like, no.
Well, we know what our audio clip is.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh
All right.
man.
So the other thing I wanted to point out really quickly, just we've talked about all these categories that like either you didn't want holiday foods and you still crushed it, or these things you would have been good at. We haven't even talked about you're a math and an English teacher. You could have taken geometry. You could have taken book adaptations. You were such a well-rounded contestant. Like that's just very scary.
Oh,
So
yeah.
Right.
good
Thanks.
job, Supermom.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, thanks.
So, okay. So let's get into episode 6 because this is a crazy episode. Obviously, the four of us, we were all standing right next to each other this whole time. Since episode 1, we felt like, man, it seems like we're being surrounded, like, everything's coming at us. By episode 6, forget it. Like the whale's touching you, the whale's touching me,
Yep.
the whale's
Whales
touching
touching
Luke.
me.
Like
Yep.
we're all there. We're all in it. We know at any time like we can be randomized. So while things were going on, like, did you have an idea of what was like before you got chosen to play? Did you have an idea in your mind if you got randomized what you were going to do?
So before all of the chaos really, really
We lost you
Oh,
again. If you can
Yep.
hear us, just give us a second and we'll start that again, Kelsey.
guys,
All
you're
right.
good.
You
maybe.
All
Okay.
right.
No, it's okay. You're back. Go steady again. Before all the chaos.
And go.
Okay, I had a strategy right away. I hated that I was in the middle of the floor because you can't hide in the middle.
We all did.
Obviously,
We all did.
edges and corners like was where I wanted to be.
Sure.
I know they said higher likelihood of being randomized, but like you can still hide. Like
Certainly
you can
didn't
still hide in the
feel that
corner.
way.
I mean, you look how like Molly, Jason, like right there in that little back corner,
Demetrius.
complete
Yep. Ding, ding,
protection.
ding.
Yep.
Yep.
Like it's just Brad over in the other corner,
Lucky
beautiful spot.
ducks.
Like,
Yep.
like so I knew when I was placed in the middle, I had to totally change my strategy. So my goal when they said that there was a category steal, I said, well, there's like a handful of categories that I love. And my study strategy leading up to it was pretty minimal because I don't get a lot of time to myself with the 4 kids. But I categorized things in 3, and I know other people did too. But I did things I don't need to study because I 100% know it, and I'm just going to trust my gut. Things that
Same.
100% I'm not going to study because I'm not going to touch it, like witchcraft. Like I don't mess
Same.
with that stuff. Like it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
And then there's like I think I could be dangerous, and I just need to refresh myself.
We
So
did the exact same thing.
like just going, I gotta parcel it all out. But then when I found I was in the middle of the floor and I wasn't loving anything that was next to me,
Well, Hall of
we all
Famers
know
and
what
stuff.
you all Hall of Famer, yes, but I still had to go through things I didn't like to get to it.
True.
Yeah.
So like obviously I see Mattel toys, I'm like, Mama 4, like I've got Mattel toys, but like I said, Serge intimidated the crap out of me from day 1. And so I was like, well,
Same.
okay, like not going Mattel toys. So Dollar Store was my option. And then when
Sure.
Dollar Store got taken out right away, I was
Pretty
like,
easily. Yeah.
Christ, I'm like, I can't take out Caitlin. Like Caitlin, like we bonded over like the whole 4 kids thing and like everything. I was like, I can't like,
But you could have
so
taken out Caitlin if you had to.
I know I didn't want to, but I
Sure.
think I might have. If it would have been early enough, I think theme parties would have been maybe where I would have went. And I honestly don't know if I would have been able to beat Caitlin in that because there were some strange ones.
Sure.
Yeah.
But then Caitlin
and there
gets taken out.
right,
Yeah.
right. But so then when Luke beat Laura and was in front of
Justin,
me, entertainment
in Laura's
judges ended
category.
up being yes. So entertainment judges, I felt like was the most plausible way for me to get out and start moving based on what was around me. And
Sure.
so that's where I started looking
Got
because
it.
I wanted Roman numerals. So I would have went entertainment judges to sense to Roman numerals. I didn't want to go through the whale if I didn't have to because it was too early in the season. So that's why I was not doing geometry or not doing Monopoly. But I wanted country music artist. That was way down over by Witchcraft and Bones and Canadian Icons. I would have done summer camp up with Jason up in the top corner, but once again, Beatles songs against Jacob would have loved to do
Everything's
that.
So
just
far.
That was
So far.
far, so
different.
far.
Man.
So okay, so but all your plans, best laid plans of mice and men, of course, out of there because you get chosen. You get chosen by
Yep.
Elizabeth. We talked about it. It's a quite an epic duel. Think you passed on Hala,
Yeah. Yep.
and was
Totally know
that?
what that is.
Yeah, I
Um,
know. It just couldn't come to you at the in the moment.
no, I couldn't.
Was there anything else you passed on? I don't.
Yorkshire pudding.
Oh, that's right, Yorkshire Peel. Because
And that was
that looked.
right at the end, which all of
Yeah,
a sudden
That
made that
was a
it
duel
was
really,
weird
really
scary.
close
picture,
again.
though,
It was a weird picture of it.
because
So,
I'm like, "Where's the spoon?"
I knew that
Whatever.
because Kurt's study guide that he provided for me. For those that don't know, actually, Kurt, he has geometry, but he also developed an app that helps you study specifically the floor categories. Like he'll have 50
Yeah,
images and you can swipe through them if you know them, if you don't. It is incredible. And I was abusing Kurt the first 2 days and just everything holiday foods because that was my path. I was like, I'm taking on Kelsey. I can't go anywhere else. So I actually knew a lot of the ones that you passed on, like Kala, I knew that one, but I would have passed on a few that you got right. I forget which ones they were, but I was like, man, I think I lose the Kelsey if I would have challenged her
Yeah,
right.
you had like, were you Kringle or
yeah, I had Kringle.
Kringle.
I
yeah,
had,
Miss Kringle.
yep,
yeah,
the Russian tea cakes.
Russian tea
In there.
yeah,
cakes.
Yep.
yeah. Those were some of your harder ones.
I
I
was very
forgot.
glad
Yeah,
that you got randomized before I did, Kelsey, because
yeah,
although my plan was to go through you after seeing you perform just on your category, I was like, oh man, I'd probably
might have
get smoked
lost.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
but even just
Yeah,
after that, it was incredible to watch you. Like you weren't shying away from, because we always talk about how there's categories that scare us, there's people that scare us, and then there's people in certain categories that scare us.
Yep.
You were coming after people that were the latter, that were both scary individuals, but also had scary categories. Savage, right? Like, did you ever consider maybe going for competitors that maybe you felt were not as strong? Because you did not do that. You didn't waver at all. You attacked the big guns.
well, let's talk about Monopoly, right? Because
Yeah.
you said you explained why you went after Monopoly. It made total sense to me. It's like once you become the whale, was it
I
an
get
easy
three at least.
yeah, was it an easy
Um,
decision to go to be like I'm gonna stay and play?
so I think it depended on what I would have inherited. Immediately when I beat Elizabeth,
That's
I'm going,
true.
okay, I have junk food. I feel great about junk food. Not lying.
It's a
Bottom
speed
left corner of my
category.
desk drawer is a junk food drawer.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
but but I
but
also know that
a
there
lot of
are
people love junk food. A
right,
lot of people love junk food.
there's easy target categories. Like when you look at the
Yeah,
floor, like there's easy target categories, and I felt like junk food was an easy target. And so I think I became the whale too early in the episode to feel comfortable to
yeah,
go back and just sit on it. Because when as I
yeah,
watched the episode, I looked and I went, okay, well, next one who was technically randomized was Jonathan. So
yeah,
would have Jonathan came after me on number 4 based on the way you played? Heck yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I do think that you would have came
yeah.
after me. I also, Jonathan, just want to say I think I would have beat you in junk food. I think I'm faster. So
Let's go.
You don't think you would have ever stumbled. You would have never been like,
Upper?
ding dongs would have gave me pause
okay,
for a second,
thank you.
but
Which
that's the only one.
Would you have
because of the
gotten
passing that Charlie, you might have
Nilla
had.
wafers? Yeah, I would have gotten Nilla wafers.
All right, we'll
thank you.
move on from that. We'll
Thank
move
you,
on
No,
from
Kelsey.
don't do that. Don't
Would
do
you
this.
have wait, and then the last one I want to ask, would you have gotten icy?
Oh, 100%.
Okay.
I probably would have said,
When
I
you got
probably would have said
Slurpee.
slushy. I would know
Slushy or Slurpee?
Slurpees don't exist in the Midwest. I haven't
Yeah,
like the,
come
yeah.
on, dude.
So I probably would have said slushy
Calm
first and then
down.
went icy. So yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, you see that polar bear, and it's like, okay,
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, when you got kids, you know what
Um,
an icy is.
It would have been well.
That's the kind of
It
thing-
sounds like it would have
it's-
been an epic battle because I was never going to pass, and it would have just been speed, and it would have come down to the last second, and that would have been
Yes,
so
yes.
so fun. Yeah.
Yes, it would have been great. And then I played it out in my head to make myself feel better about the way that things actually did play out. And then I'm like, then I would have been tagged with podcasters and somebody would have probably been touching me.
Yeah.
And I think they would have came after me in podcasters and there's zero way I could have defended your title. So I guess things are what they are. But the whole Monopoly thing, like I said, that's been my favorite game growing up as a child. Had I looked at a Monopoly board at all previous to this? No. Like I was literally just going off of memory. I was ready for them to go like rent
That's
prices. Like
insane.
I was legit ready for
Wow.
rent
That's
prices.
insane.
Like
Christina was studying that board, but it's the stuff you study versus the stuff you just know.
yeah.
And for the
Um,
viewers at home that are listening to this, Kelsey, since the ending of filming the floor, I follow her on social medias, and I think I've seen her play Monopoly with her kids 7,436 times.
But it's
So
been
that
different
is,
versions. It's not the original
yes,
version. It's different
no.
versions. Yeah.
And that's what I want to make clear. Like, you are a well-seasoned Monopoly veteran. Like, we have never seen. So that tracks.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah, for
man.
me, like legit, like my kids looked at the categories when I got the list and they were telling me different ones that they were excited for. And they all saw Monopoly and went, Mom, you have to play this. And I went, I know I do.
Um,
So once the whale
so
was
let's
touching,
let's
go ahead,
so
Luke.
let me just talk a little bit about that because you did say now the whale's touching Monopoly. You decided to challenge Monopoly, and you said something about like my kids would never forgive me if I didn't play this. I respected that so much. I was just like, not only because nothing's guaranteed in this game, but the admiration of your family, right?
Right.
And so it's like, I don't have kids. The way my nieces and nephew have reacted to me on this show has been like the dream of a lifetime. And so to
Mm.
know that your kids are going to see you do something for them, to put it all out there just to fight in
Ooh.
something that you knew would make them happy, baller move. Baller,
So
it's so cool. I respect it so much, and
mm,
and you crushed it. You won it.
thank
Yeah.
you. Yeah. Yeah. Like you said, nothing's guaranteed. And mentally I went through, I'm like, God, it's way too early for me to give the whale. I gotta play the ones that I want to have fun with.
Hmm.
And I knew
So did you
Monopoly
ever
was
consider going back to the floor, like, at all? Or was it like, you know what, I'm here to play?
the moment I was touching Monopoly, and after like the heartbreak of that previous duel and how intense it was, I was like, oh my God, I don't know if I can do that again. Like I gotta control it. I gotta control my destiny. So I didn't even think about going back
I
to the
love it.
floor because I knew Monopoly was an option for me, and that was my top choice to
Yeah.
play. I had already accomplished my goal. I had made it a goal. I was like, I just need to win one. Like, I can't be a one and done. I just really wanted to win
I
one.
love it.
And I know that it's not possible for everybody to do that. But for me, I felt like I needed to. And then the fact that I was able to defend holiday foods made me even happier
Yeah.
about
And
it. And then,
you
yeah, oh, go ahead,
smoked it.
Jonathan.
I was just gonna
Yeah.
say you smoked you were this was another incredible duel. And okay, so there is a little online controversy about this, but like tell us like when they go to you guys before the duel starts, what were the like specific rules? Did they say like, hey, you have to say the whole thing or what was it?
So,
Yeah.
they just said you're going to name the missing piece. They're like, we're going to give you one on each side if it's like a property or so like a space on the board, and you have to name the missing piece and you have to say the whole name. And Christina clarified, and Christina specifically asked, does it need to be like New York Avenue? And they said, yes, you need the whole
Okay,
name.
okay, great.
And so
Right.
There we
Christina
go.
was the one who asked. I was the one who stumbled the first time because I
That's
went
right.
Baltic, Mediterranean,
Did.
Mediterranean
Mediterranean.
Avenue.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then when she got stuck, and I truly think I haven't had a chance to ask Christina, but I think she stumbled on North Carolina because if you have Pacific Avenue and the other green one is Pennsylvania Avenue, but North Carolina is also two words. So she's saying two words every time. And so
Yes.
that's the
Because
stumble because North Carolina Avenue
well, when
is a
she
lot to
stumbled,
say.
it's crazy. When she stumbled, she said North Carolina, then she said Pennsylvania Avenue,
Yes.
and then she
But it's the
said
two
North
words.
Carolina. I know you're that's an interesting theory because I was like rewatching it again, I was like, it's crazy she said Pennsylvania Avenue, but then
Yep.
when she said North Carolina again, she still didn't say Avenue.
Right. Right.
And then she wound up at that point it was very close. I think maybe you had like a second or a 2 second lead at most.
I specifically remember looking sometime in the teens. I
Yeah.
was fairly unaware of time during my battle with
Yeah.
Elizabeth. I was just keeping track of our passes
Sure.
as opposed to the time itself. But remember looking at the screen with Christina and going, how am I losing this?
Right.
Because
Yeah.
she had an upper hand on me somewhere in those teens. And then when she stumbled on the North Carolina,
Right.
obviously that was
Yeah.
able to seal it. But yeah.
Yeah, you had a little stumble on the Mediterranean, and also just for the listener, like the game is designed to make it harder for the person who is
Yes.
challenging.
Yeah.
Like you go first, so you're always going to be technically
Yep.
behind.
Behind.
And also, this has never come up in the show yet. The bylaws or the rules, which I went through all the like very minute details of these rules. If they run out of, which we've never seen, but if they like ran out of clues and then the game is tied and both people have the same amount of seconds, the person who got challenged wins.
That's
Yep.
crazy. That is so
It's
crazy.
a defense. It's
Which
a
is
defense
Tie
insane.
goes to
friendly
the
game.
winner.
Tie
Right.
goes
Yeah.
to the person who is challenged, even though the challenger started first. So it's set up to make it harder for the challenger. But anyway, so I was so impressed when you like remembered that it was Mediterranean Avenue, and unfortunately she forgot, and that
And
cost
so
her.
the controversy, that's where it dies, right? The
That's where it
fact that
dies.
it
So
was
it
it was
does,
told
but
to
also
both.
if you know a Monopoly board, there's Pennsylvania Avenue and there's Pennsylvania Railroad. So you
Railroad,
can't just say
That's why
Pennsylvania
that's
because
why
there
the
are two
rule
of
is
them.
there. I know, and people were saying, but there isn't a North Carolina railroad, so you should be able to say North Carolina. But it's like, no, the rule has to be consistent. Somebody else made a great example, and they were like, well, it's Park Place, so if in that understanding, you should just be able to say Park, and nobody would
Exactly.
think that that's true. So like,
Correct.
anyway,
Correct.
Yeah. The other thing was the nerves. Like you were calm and Christina was not, and it was just very apparent pretty early on. Even when you stumbled, like I said, machine gun mentality. You were back in it, and it panicked Christina. You can see her jumping. We could hear. You can't hear it on TV, weirdly enough, but we could hear her banging on the table. Like it was just. That's how it goes. That's how the cookie crumbles.
yeah,
It makes it worse when the person in front of you is so calm and collected, right? Like if I'm Christina and
It
I'm
does.
neck and neck, and then I look across me and see Kelsey just like stone cold faced killer, like
yeah,
that's gonna rattle you. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yes.
this is a killer face. Thanks,
yeah.
Serge. Love it.
So you win this kind of epic battle. You do your kids, your family proud. You win Monopoly. You can do one more. If you do one more, you get either a category swap or a time boost.
What
And
would you have gone for? Real quick.
I would have category swapped and I was going to steal geometry. And that is why I
Geometry.
didn't.
Yeah.
And that's why I
and
didn't
that's why
play
you didn't
it.
play it. A lot of people are asking
Yeah.
why, if Kelsey's a math teacher, why didn't she go for geometry? It's right there, and
Gotta leave it there so you can take it.
yeah.
Yep. I
So
wanted. Yeah.
and talk us through that, because I remember the first time I heard you say this, I was still like, but Kurt's there, and so, but what if he gets randomized? Like he could play you. He'll just
The
play
odds
you
are
right there.
so low. Odds are so low.
So yeah, the thought process was there that, like I said, I got the whale early on.
Yeah.
And so I needed a category that was going to be intimidating to the majority of the floor. And based on what I had been hearing, geometry is an intimidating category.
Right.
And
Objectively.
which I felt like, and I'm like, I felt good about geometry. So I thought if I can get one more win, I can steal geometry, then go back to the floor, knowing that there were still more duels to go. There were three more duels to go. And
Well, if
I
at
felt
that point, if you had,
Because you would have beat,
Yeah.
there would have been three. Yes.
there would have
Yeah.
been three more duels to
Right.
go. And then
But a lot less
that would have
people are
either
willing to challenge that category, though.
Right.
You know what I
Exactly.
mean?
Yeah.
I was
Compared to
thinking
junk
that
food. 'Cause
that would
Jonathan gets
either protect me to the end of
Right.
the episode and then people would study in between tapings,
Yeah.
or I would at least get to the very last battle of the episode and somebody might take a shot in the
and
dark.
wins,
I
and you would win
didn't
money. Yeah.
feel as protected with junk food and a time
100.
bonus. And
Absolutely.
that's why. So hindsight, maybe I should have played Kurt in geometry and then let it be and then take the time boost and run my luck. But hindsight's 2020. I felt like I had a strategy in place.
Same.
And
Yeah.
I was
You don't
I
want to
was
get
full
up there and then
intending to steal it.
reconsider everything. Yeah. It's like
Yeah.
that's second guessing yourself, and then of course you second guess yourself afterwards that you made the wrong decision. But hindsight is 2020. You can't know.
So-
You know.
No,
It's-
but
Right.
that's
to
all
be
there is to
fair,
it.
that strategy, Kelsey, like is incredibly like well thought out and weighted, right? Because you're
Yeah.
literally saying you're weighing the options and you're saying I have junk food with a potential time boost. Is that better or worse than potentially having geometry with no time boost?
No,
I'm
yeah,
just
you
sitting
thought
there.
it through. You absolutely thought it through.
That's incredible
Yeah.
mindset, thought
Um,
process. Like that's what this game's about. I love that.
Jonathan,
I love that's how you were.
if you had been randomized, would you have
it's
challenged geometry?
such a great question, because I've literally been thinking about this just right now. And here's the thing: geometry was not a category I was scared of. I definitely wasn't scared of geometry. That being said, would I have like I would definitely reconsider like going like, she just stole this
He
category.
wanted it. Yeah,
right?
she
So like
wanted this.
yeah, so like she's
A math teacher
confident in it. I haven't studied it. Like geometry wasn't a category at this point that I had really studied much. Like I was
Wasn't
like, yeah,
feasible.
like it, yeah, just it was over there, and I wasn't thinking about it, and I would have felt like, man, like, and then also the fact that there would have been 3 more duels left would have made me go, okay, like, not only do I have to beat geometry, I still have to probably have to keep going, maybe. It would have
Win
been
2
tough.
more. Yeah.
I honestly can't tell you. Because even taking on junk food, as much as a category that wasn't that scary to me, even doing that
It's still stressful.
felt very stressful and felt very
It's not.
scary.
You weren't studying junk
I
food,
wasn't
right?
studying junk food either, so
Yeah.
I would have. I don't know. I really can't tell you what I would have done or not. Like I
Yeah.
easily can see a world where I go, well, whatever, John. Like go big or go home. Like just try it. Like you have to
Yeah.
try. And I could also see a world where I go, why don't I just duel some of the? I still would have had a couple of.
More sense.
Yeah, I
Oh,
guess.
shoot.
Yeah, sense would have still been there, right? So
Sense
I
would
would
have-
have.
Yeah.
So I was like, just do the things that I have been studying. Do my 1, 2, 3 time boost sit, because that's what it would have been, right? I would have had 3.
Yeah.
If there were 3 duels left, I could do the 3 that I honestly there was a 1, 2, 3 strategy that I was already thinking about. And I can easily see me going, you know what? Maybe if I'm sitting here in the middle with the time boost, I
And
can make it towards the
podcasters.
end, and I can
And
kind of
Kelsey
make it
can
towards
keep
the
her
end.
scary geometry and win $20,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll pass
So
on Kelsey with geometry. I'm good on that, man. Like,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
there's no way.
So
No way.
yeah, I can't say, but I will say this: way better chance of me not dueling geometry that you just stole
Yeah.
than there was of me not dueling junk food, for
And
sure.
that's
and
yeah.
that's the key. That
That's
she
yeah.
stole it,
So,
right? She
yeah.
wanted it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah.
I was
Well,
banking on. It was what
Yeah.
it was.
So then you challenge some idiot in judges.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
And
can
you were
I
studying
tell
it.
you?
Please.
Can I tell you? Okay, visually, Jonathan, you've
Mhm.
been up there. You're taller than I am, but Luke, you've been up there. Visually, it was very difficult for me to see categories
I was
in the
right in
back.
front of you. Yeah.
Like it
Yeah.
is.
And
It was
and,
very
and
like
your brain
I can't see the
subconsciously
people.
is
I
like, what do
couldn't
I
see
see?
and like I said, Luke was my original exit strategy. And after I said Luke, they stop production. The producers come up, they give you a drink of water, make sure you're okay. I turned to Jen and Living Good, and I literally went, that is not what I thought was going to come out of my mouth. I had zero
Yeah.
intention to go after you. And my
Yeah.
voice just said, I'm going to challenge Luke, apparently.
Yeah.
So,
So
Yeah.
the
yeah,
floor
that
thought
was.
you were coming for me. I thought you were coming for me. That she just did Monopoly. She's clearly got
And
4
and
kids
you
that have a
and you prefaced it by saying, I'm gonna go after what I've studied the most. And you've been
Right.
bordering me and Sergio, and it just made more sense. You were bordering
You were
Sergio.
always bordering Sergio. Like though, you were bordering Sergio
Exactly.
from day one.
But I was also bordering Luke because he took over by that end of that first episode. So
Yeah,
I
yeah,
did.
that's true.
Yeah.
Basically, the whole time you've been
That's
bordering
true.
me.
That's true. Good point. Good point. Good point.
Yeah.
That was I mean, we talked about it. We were shocked, and we were also scared because we knew what Luke said he wanted to do when if he got the chance to be the
got
whale again.
control.
But this was a good battle. Were you were you surprised by like how disparate it was? Like,
well, I was banking on some of the controversy that came with it because
Yeah.
it went from on-screen judges to entertainment judges to whatever. And so I'm going, maybe it'll throw Luke a little bit as well. And then mentally, when we were going through the pictures, I grouped people by TV show. So like, these are the judges that have been on Chopped. These are the judges that have been on America's Next Top Model. These are the
Sure.
judges that have been like on America's Got Talent, whatever it is, all the way down. So I think, Luke, you were the one who said Tyra Banks. In my head, I went, boom, America's Next Top Model is done. And then a couple pictures later, I get Miss J, and I had already wiped off ANTM from my head. I'm going, they've already covered it. They wouldn't go to that one again yet.
Your brain works in a crazy way.
Yeah, seriously.
I'm way too ADHD to be that's impressive. That's really impressive. Yeah.
That's one thing I'm
wow.
taking from this, because I had told my wife that, and I said it earlier in these episodes where we had a lot of teachers on this show, and you were the first one. You and Dash were the first ones that I kind of like interacted with, and I was like, man, these people are around academics all the time. They're sharp as nails. They're constantly exercising their brain. And it's scary with the amount of teachers we had. But you were the
Yeah.
one where I was like, oh man, Kelsey's so sharp.
Yeah.
Why is she next to me?
Well, and
You know what I mean?
when you challenged me, because I was so confident in judges, and I was like, no one can beat me in this. And then when you challenged me, I was like, wait, there's someone that could beat me in this. I was like, and she just challenged me. This could be very bad. So I was very nervous to be going against you.
Right, Kelsey, you just directly went after the big guns, the Goliaths, said, I don't care, I'm here to win. And that showed so much courage, so much tenacity. And I loved watching that. I loved watching someone next to me who I thought I was intimidating, someone that I thought I was getting in their head, to see you let go of all that and perform the way you did. That was beyond impressive. I love that you did what you did and you made your family proud. You dominated Monopoly, which is great. If you had came for me, Kelsey, I think it would have been one of the most epic duels ever. I respect you so much as a competitor, and I'm glad I met you. And I regret not talking more to you during the filming process outside of intimidation. But golly, I'm so glad that we're now reconnected and we talk now fairly regularly. So I appreciate your friendship and great job on the floor.
What you just missed, and so, now you're just gonna have to watch the episode. Is
Oh, it's okay. I
Sergio
watch
did
it
just
anyway.
all right, well, that's very sweet. Sergio just went on a 3-minute rant about how dope you are. So he gave you your flowers.
Yeah.
Gave you your
Oh.
flowers as well.
And you were an epic competitor. You won
Machine gun.
2 duels, which again, there's a lot of people who don't even win 1 duel, but like,
But
you,
2 duels against some serious formidable
Yeah.
formidable competition.
I've
You
been
know,
saying it.
like
2 duels is the best amount of duels to win.
It really is. I agree. I agree. John, you
listen.
tapped out. Don't tell me anything. Let's just say
Okay,
that you
great.
tapped out
Yeah, that's
here.
right. That's right. Yeah, exactly. I
I mean,
won 2 duels.
that's all Jonathan's won right now too. He
That's
gets
right.
it. He's
You're
a
right.
part of the
I do
2
get
duel
it.
club.
I'm part of the 2 duel
Yeah,
club. And
2 duel
also,
club rules.
I was going to say too, like, I completely understand you being like, I can't believe that came out of my mouth, because like, when I took that risk at the end to like duel one more time instead of just going back down to the floor, I was like, I'm gonna do this, but then I was like, I truly didn't know what I was gonna. I was like, do I pick one of the categories I had been studying that's right next to me? Do I do one of these film categories that I kind of like, or some other categories that I was thinking about? And like, when combat films came out of my mouth, I was like, oh, interesting. Like, it was in my head. It was in my head, but even as I was saying it, I was like, is this what I'm choosing? Like, what am I doing?
Yep. Yep, I know. It's like,
yeah,
okay.
all right.
Yeah.
And like, it's just like you're out of your body, just like witnessing a person. You're just like, oh, okay, interesting.
100. And I don't know if you guys all felt this too, or Serge, if you felt this when you get your opportunity. I can't wait to see you play yet, because you're the only one I haven't seen play yet now. But like, for all the space that we have held when we have been the whale, I was still not touching other prime categories that I wanted.
I know.
Like, I wanted
Same.
like you
don't have to tell me twice.
And
It's so frustrating. I mean, that's why I played Sense. I was like, I'm touching everything and I'm not touching presidents. That's what I want. I want to challenge Rick in presidents. I have to go through Charlie with Sense.
It blew my mind, but at the same time, it made me feel better about the like, blah, that came out of my mouth when I challenged Luke, because I was like, well, here it is. It is what it is.
I have to thank you personally, obviously, because all of everything that happened led to me getting the chance to win, but also because you took on Monopoly, that's the only reason Combat Films was available. And
well, you're welcome.
So I appreciate that.
Love it.
All right.
Well, Kelsey,
yeah.
you've been an absolute pleasure. You crushed
Thank
it
you.
on the show. And yeah, it's been so lovely hanging with you.
This is so good, because I miss standing next to you guys. That was probably one of the things that I hated the most leaving, was that I didn't get to stand next to you guys
I missed
longer.
it too.
So
all right.
Kelsey,
Enjoy
much love
basketball
for you.
games.
oh yeah.
Yes, good luck in the
Everything
tournament.
that goes with it.
Yes. And I'm sure we'll see you again.
All right. Feel free to reach out whenever.
Of course.
Oh.
Okay.
Bye.
All right. Bye, guys.
Kelsey. Episode 7 is coming. We're going to see what Jonathan does. Everyone with a brain knows he's going to play at least one more, but who's he going to play? Is he going to win? Is he going to get a time boost and go sit? He loves podcasters. It's a very intimidating category. We'll find out Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. in the middle stuff.
Yeah.
That'll be good.
And the other thing to say is that Sergio is now completely swallowed by the whale. And if he gets
Jonathan
randomized,
completely swallowed Serge. It was
he
crazy.
has no choices now. It's just the
He's in a
whale.
warm hug because of Jonathan's podcaster body.
You're
Worst
not
case
alone.
scenario for
You're not
me.
alone.
No, less.
Laz is
Laz has
also
it too.
completely
Yeah.
swallowed.
So
Yeah.
at this point, going into episode 7, all I can think is it'd be great if Laz gets randomized because I think I'd dominate
Yeah,
Jonathan
exactly.
in arcade, right? So I'm like, man, let somebody like Laz get forced into him. But really, what I'm thinking is, what's Jonathan gonna do, right? He's got control of the board, and I know what he's been saying the whole time. We've been talking. If I have control, I'm gonna go all out with it, right? I'm gonna abuse this control and not let it go. So I got an idea of what he's gonna do before he's doing it, and I'm just waiting to see how it plays out because I'm worst case scenario, it's happened to me already. So I have to find a way to adjust and find a new path to victory because what I didn't want to happen is obviously happening. But there's still lots of hope. I'm still not fully episode 6 was weird for me. It was bittersweet, right? I felt what was happening sucked for me, but the genuine joy that I felt to watch you go up there and do exactly what you said you were gonna do was amazing to watch, right? And then someone that I do, we are close, man. I got
It
so
was
much love
beautiful
for
and
you.
happy.
Love you, Luke. So, but yeah, watching that was pretty great to see, and I'm excited to see how this pans out. But having you surround me the way you are is a little stressful, to say the
There,
least. But
only
we'll see,
imagine.
we'll
All
see what
right.
happens.
Well, thank you all for listening. You'll catch us next week, Monday, after episode 7 airs. We'll see you then.
Let's
Take care.
go.
Bye.